Chiclets fans, what's up? Biz here. If you're looking to rock some fresh new merchandise, head over to barstoolsports.com/chiclets. We got pink Whitney stuff, we got golf gear, we got shot glasses, anything you can find on top of these bucket hats, head on over.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 395 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from my friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. Well, gang, this epic, unreal season is finally over. We have a new champion. We're going to get to all that shortly. We're going to even hear from one of the guys on the team. But first, let's check in with our team. First, let's go across the pond to Sweden. Our correspondent, Merle. What's going on, my friend?
Doing great. The weather is phenomenal over here. I've spent the last 2 days in the pool with my daughter. She loves it. I've been sitting in the pool so much, Whit, it reminded me of our days at the Hard Rock in Vegas. That's how much pool time I'm getting.
Oh yeah, let's start the pot off with that. You in the pool with your daughter reminding you of us at the Hard Rock is a wild comparison.
Hey, I could just picture Whit asking Merles to douse him in SPF 100 so he doesn't fucking burn that pasty white skin over there.
Yeah, right, dude. I was always looking to get a burn. Red turns to tan, bitch, and Merles would be dousing me with $100 chips.
What's it, Midsommar over there? What's that thing called?
Yeah, we had Midsummer was Friday. It's basically the longest day of the year. So they have a huge party. Everybody's dancing and drinking. And I flew right back from New York right into that party. But
well, it's a good thing you took it easy in New York, though.
Yeah, it was real smart idea to go easy till the last night when you have to travel 16 hours. But
I love too how you had a couple of responses from people as you were making your videos during Game 6, and they're like, "Why is it light out?" You're like, "Dude, it doesn't get dark in the summer. 4 a.m. This is how it always is."
Yeah, that's how it always is. It's been terrible trying to get back on schedule sleep, but that time in New York with you guys watching the finals was all worth it.
What was the pool at the Hard Rock you guys would go to? Was it the crazy one?
Rehab was on Sundays.
Oh my God. That there was no water in that pool. It was just strictly urine.
Yes. Come.
Well, that's why I compared it to the kiddie pool I've been in the last 2 days.
Oh yeah. Some couple logs floating around too.
Baby Ruth.
Hey, Whit, were you loving that rehab? Were you a fist pumper?
No, dude. I mean, I was just out there just crushing out of the big water bottles. Remember those things, Mer? The big drinks we'd get?
Yep.
Get
the bottle service
with vodka.
Yep. They had the swim up blackjack at the Hard Rock too. We used to.
Oh yeah. Oh, I bet you love that one. Gee, did you ever do a swim up blackjack?
Never have, actually. Never have. I love it.
It's actually pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's kind of like you get that all-inclusive feel like when you go down to like Mexico, but you get it in Vegas, and then you can gamble on top of that, and then mix in those. What was the cocktail that you had at Chiclets Cup? The TR Explosion.
The 180 octane.
It was the Jack 3D 100 octane.
The only problem with swim up blackjack is when you bust out all your chips and you need chips, you got to walk to the ATM. Your suit's soaked, you're dripping water. It's like,
but you can piss yourself when you lose.
Yeah,
so
sit there, lose like money and piss yourself, and no one will know the difference because everyone else is pissing too.
That's the ultimate walk of shame. Probably worse than the ones from the ladies the morning before.
That was the voice of our producer, Mikey Grinelli. What's going on, buddy? Down in New York City.
Yeah, what's going on, boys? I got to spend a nice, relaxing weekend back home with my family. Even got to go up to Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire for a few days. So kind of rattled. Still can't decide if I'm an ocean guy or a lake guy, but regardless, still a great weekend.
Yeah, you can be both. Let's go out to the desert, the dirty desert. Paul, Biz Nasty, Bisnet, what's going on with you, buddy? No more TNT. You must have a little openness in your schedule lately.
I actually like that either or, Grinelli, lake or ocean. And you can only pick one for the rest of your life. As far as me, boys, the reason that we're recording here Tuesday morning, I had to go on a quick work trip over to Vegas. My lips are sealed. It's a little bit undercover as to what I was up to.
Exciting news, though, when we can break it.
Yeah, we actually have two secrets that we're withholding from Chiclets fans, and I hate it. And you look at Grinelli probably shaking his head over there. I can't even keep what interviews we have in the bank from you guys, and I know that annoys him when they squeak out of my lips, because then you set the expectation that it's like, Biz, we're not dropping that interview, and I got 20 people on Twitter fucking begging me for it. So I will no longer be doing that. Yes, But great little surprise coming for you guys that way. And then the other one will be unveiled at Chiclets Cup. I know I've mentioned it a few times. Everything from Chiclets Cup is coming full circle. Live event, Lisa, the entire Barstool crew. Everybody has this thing teed up on a platter. We have 2 or 3 live acts for that Friday now.
We got 2.
The Thursday at Chiclets Cup, it's going to be for people that are signed up and playing in the tournament. We're going to do registration in Buffalo on the Thursday, and then there's going to be a location that's provided to you guys via email. All the people that got into the tournament for that surprise that we're going to unveil, and we're going to give you guys the location. We're going to give you that's it. That's all we're going to give you. Can we say the location right now for where the place after registration to meet up and have a few cocktails is?
It will be at the Labatt factory.
Ooh,
there you go. And we're going to get you guys the address to that. And then we're going to have a big surprise. So other than that, got back late last night. I don't know if you guys ever find yourself sticking in the car afterward when you get home and just like listening to a few jams on loud in your car.
I sprint out of the car when I get home.
Oh, you don't stay in there for a couple minutes, maybe listen to some tunes?
No, I could play the tunes inside. I don't want to sit in my stinky car after I've been in it on a travel home.
Well, I mean, it's probably only stinky because you've been ripping farts inside of it. And then you figure if you want to listen to a couple tunes on your own, you probably have a madhouse. If there's anybody who would want to go out to the car and get a little peace and quiet time.
Let me tell you something. Merles is the only guy who could probably know what I'm talking about here. If you are married with kids and your wife sees you sitting in the car when you get home, you're a dead man. She might come out and throw something through the car windshield.
Get the fuck out of here, really?
What do you mean? She's like, get inside, help with the kids. What are you doing sitting in your car?
Oh, buddy, I'm not saying you're going out and like with the food out of the microwave and like eating dinner in there alone. I'm saying if you need a little 15, 20-minute timeout, listen to a couple tunes. And I actually had a couple written down here. Like, you know how when you got your iPod on shuffle and just a banger comes up that you never really knew was there? Elton John, Take Me to the Pilot. Have you ever listened to that thing on full blast?
Take Me to the Pilot. Which one's that?
Exactly. It's called a sneaky banger, RA. And if you had a car, RA, actually, you know what, RA, rent an Uber today. Ask him for the aux cord, roll the windows up, tell him to crank a full blast, and tell him to play Elton John, Take Me to the Pilot. And it is an absolute, and I was in the car I felt like fucking Tina Turner in there. I just had a moment where I didn't want to wake up my neighbors and put the Bose on, but I like doing it in the car and just getting a few out. And then, you know, after a few minutes, you do kind of like Whit mentioned, feel like a bit of a loser sitting in the car alone. So then you finally go end up and heading inside. Now, sticking on that topic, you guys got any sneaky bangers you've been listening to lately?
I want to talk about the cup.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's go back. All right. From the desert back to the Boston area. Got to give the Whit Dog, Ryan Whitney. Good to see you over the weekend, my friend. How's it going?
Yeah, it was awesome. I ran into RA. We had a special day on Saturday at Jake Tebow's graduation party. We had him on a few weeks back. It was a treat. RA showed up just a little bit after I did. We couldn't get a babysitter, so we had Ryder and Wyatt were bombing around, being menaces. But honestly, there were so many great people there. We ran into Jack Eichel there, ran into Maddie Beniers, current and future Seattle star. So it was awesome. I mean, Jake has so many good friends. You can tell how much he means to everyone there. Seeing his parents are great. Seeing what they did to his house to make it completely functional for his wheelchair and makes it so easy for him to get around. All the great work he had close friends do to help him get more, make it easier on him when he got home. And it was a blast. I wish I could have stayed there later. I think we were there about 2.5, 3 hours, but with the kids, we had to leave. How long did you end up staying?
I think I left about an hour after you. I mean, I was on that Tempton. It's like, cause it's an hour drive, dude. And you have a couple pops, you get pulled over. I had one drink off. So you can't, it's like, you got to go full or nothing. And, I was like, either bring a tent and sleep in the backyard or just stay for a few hours and go home. Figure maybe my next time I'll crash.
RA gets pulled over by the TSA agent.
Yeah.
RA gets pulled over and he's like, I had one beer. The guy's like, to his partner, come here, look at this guy.
I'll have full Spittin Chiclets outfit on with the hat.
His eyes are fucking bloodshot.
Oh, Mr. Trooper, have you ever heard of Spittin Chiclets? I'll have like every single piece of merch on. Hopefully they listen. But no, it was a great time. Well said, Whit. And Biz, you just mentioned Bose. Dude, one of the things that was awful when our West Coast trip, or I should say Western Conference final trip, I lost my Bose Sport Buds, man. The little ones, obviously not these ones, the little ones that go in the air, sort of like. And I wasn't even using them. They must have just fell out of my backpack. I called both hotels. I called the airline, put in lost and found, and they haven't turned up yet. So pretty bummed out. That
I mean, if you leave anything in a hotel room, you could call back the minute the door closes and you're still in the hallway, and somehow it's gone.
I don't even.
They must have like a resale of the phone chargers.
Actually, underground sneaky little. I guess what's the word? Not
sneaky banger.
Travel hack.
Hack.
Oh,
if you forget your cell phone charger, just ask the front desk for the lost and found, and there's 50 iPhone cell phone chargers at every hotel. So don't panic when you forget yours. They'll have one at the lost and found.
Yeah, someone between Denver and Edmonton found a pair of Bose Sport Buds. They're probably mine. So,
hey, one funny thing or fun thing, excuse me, we're doing is we're dropping that Mount Rushmore. Myself and Whit were on it. So, Whit, we could add that can't hang out in the car after the age of 30 to the list when you get home, right?
No, that's just a married with kids. Not even just married. Married with kids, you can't hang out in your car when you get home. But that has nothing to do with 30, because if you're single without kids at 37 years old, sit in your car, order a pizza, hang out there, and just enjoy your car.
Go sit in the fucking car, Brian. Get out of the house for a little while.
Hey, Eric's going to start living out of his car.
First, I got to get a car before I start living out of one. Hey, thanks to everybody. Well, we're down in New York doing the live streams. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. We were at the Gambling House in Hoboken, and then we brought it back to headquarters. Thanks to everybody who hung out with us, tuned in, all that good stuff. We do also want to remind you that Steph Curry has apparently joined the Pink Whitney Club at the Barstool Classic this weekend. He took a couple shots of it. Thought he enjoyed it pretty good. I think he did a little fadeaway action when he finished his shots. It is the 5 times distilled vodka infused with fresh pink lemonade flavor. Whether you're a stud hoops player or just a dude who likes to have some cocktails, you got to head over to your local bar. Make sure to order up some of that fine Pink Whitney. What'd you think of that when you saw Steph Curry doing a little fadeaway with the old Pink Whitney nip?
I loved it. I mean, I was actually, I got the video sent to me. I was a little nervous because he's tasting it, like this guy. I think I mentioned on one of the shows, like, I'm not even a basketball guy, but how do you not love Steph Curry? And I said this before the Pink Whitney love, but as he's sipping it, he's kind of, you could tell his brain's working. What do I like? I was like, oh no, please don't say you dislike it. And then before he even said anything, someone said, not bad, huh? And he just said, better than not bad. That's dangerous. I immediately said, Grinnelli, we need a That's Dangerous t-shirt for Pink Whitney. And then, of course, he just finishes it off with the fadeaway. I tweeted out, I said, LeBron would have needed somebody to open up the little nip ball for him, that bitch. So I was happy to see the best basketball player on earth actually enjoyed our drink. I was maybe even a little surprised he hadn't tried it at this point. It's been such a long, crazy run where it's been out on the market, but nonetheless, the fact that Steph Curry is a guy who's kind of willing to put his name out there as a fan of the drink, it just made me I was just counting money.
Yeah, we're gonna get him in the next commercial. We're gonna get him in the next commercial. Time for Hardest Shot from Steph
Merle
Curry.
sent a good tweet to him. You can have a little more and do a sandbagger with Biz and Wit. So it's pretty sick. I mean, he played in the Barstool Classic. So shout out live event, Lisa Riggs, all the people that have made that classic so big. You get Steph Curry in it, NBA playoff MVP and 4-time champion. That's pretty unreal. So I think that to get him in that and then get him drinking the Pink Whitney and pumping its tires, what a day for us here at Chiclets Nation.
Is he one of the best athlete non-PGA golfers? Would that be safe to say?
Easily. Dude, he played in a Corn Ferry Tour event, and I think he shot 73 both rounds. Like, he is a legitimate scratch, very, very good golfer.
So we're now a Steph Curry
What
podcast.
isn't that guy good at, I bet?
Biz, talking about Pink Whitney, you're going to be revving up the jet engine once again for a little tour this summer, correct?
Yeah, well, I'll be starting the trip off in Winnipeg, and we're going to be giving everybody the dates and the locations out for this Canadian Western Pink Whitney tour. We're going to be making stops in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and then, of course, British Columbia. I cannot wait. So make sure you follow all the social media accounts at Pink Whitney. You'll get more of the details, and I'll have all the locations more than likely next podcast. So look out for that. Western Canada. Very excited to touch down. Hopefully G ends up joining me on part of the trip at least, and we'll say hello.
You kidding me? I'll be there, Biz. You kidding me?
All right. Your second trip to Western Canada in your lifetime. You've been to Kelowna, beautiful city, and then of course, wonderful Vancouver.
Van City, baby.
All right, that's it for Pink Whitney. Let's talk hockey, Whit. What do you got for the boys?
I got a little mini dynasty coming to an end, and maybe the beginning of a new one. Honest to God, that team and what happened there and what they've been through. Merles has been on him from the start. You got to give the guy credit. Biz picked him. I just think that what we watched and what we're about to see over the next few years is something that could maybe even make what the Lightning just did, like, what's the word? Not impressive, but I think we could even blow that out of the water. And 3 in a row. Shout out the Lightning. We're going to go into them in a little bit. We're going to let RA hop into Game 6 and what all went down. But for me, and witnessing what happened with the Avs and the interviews after and how many guys have been through so many different things to get where they're at now, it was just such an incredible story. And that's coming from a dude who thought the Lightning would three-peat.
Yeah, man. Just 5 years after finishing in the NHL's basement with a measly 48 points, the Colorado Avalanche are Stanley Cup champions for the first time in 21 years after squashing Tampa Bay's bid for a three-peat with a 2-1 Game 6 victory. Cale Makar added a Stanley Cup and a Conn Smythe to go with his Norris Trophy. He already also has the Hobey Baker and the Calder Trophy. He's the only guy to ever win all 5. Absolutely insane. Just the third defenseman to win the Norris and Conn Smythe in the same year. Guy named Ord did it twice. Guy named Lidstrom did it once. He won the Conn Smythe unanimously, got all 18 first-place votes. Just an incredible performance from the kid. Nathan MacKinnon, he was starting to get a little bit of criticism during the series. Well, he stepped up when he needed to, goal and an assist, put a stamp on the game, on the series, shut up that criticism. He has the third best points per playoff game average after Gretzky and Lemieux. He said Sid better be drunk at his party because he was the drunkest at Sid's parties. Nazem Kadri couldn't tie his skates. Supposed to be a 6-week recovery. Only it was a 2-week recovery for him. He got out there, of course, scored the big goal a couple games prior. We got to talk about the moves Joe Sakic made as well. Went out, brought in Cogliano, Nico Sturm, Josh Manson, Curtis McDermott, Darcy Kemper, Darren Helm, put all these pieces in place. And also Jared Bednar. This is a guy who paid his dues, man. With 7 years in the coach with South Carolina, 5 as an assistant, 2 as a head coach, then 7 more in the A. He's the only coach to win championships at all 3 levels. And on top of that, he's a salt-of-the-earth guy. So, Biz, let's go to you first, see what you got for us, buddy.
Holy fuck, RA. That was a great little breakdown. I don't even think I need to talk.
Plenty more to go.
I mean, just sheer dominance of a season and rolled it into playoffs. Sustained a few, I guess, a few important injuries. That Gerard injury, when he ended up going down, I was a little bit concerned, but fuck, did Byram ever step up? And everybody did. And I felt that a couple of the moves that they ended up making, one a little bit early, that Nichushkin ended up having, if he doesn't have the type of playoff he has, and then as well as throw Lehkonen in the mix, those are 2 guys maybe outside the core group who you expected, of course the core group was going to elevate their game and bring the noise. But I just felt that those 2 guys in particular outside the main core group really, really elevated the play of the team to where there were just no weak links, boys. Like most games, just outscoring chance the other team. Sakic put together a fucking wagon, and every move he ended up making in order to leverage part of what the future might have held, he fucking hit it out of the park. Like that Lehkonen move, and I know we joke around, but when I was in Atlanta, when it ended up going down, I was like, oh, Lehkonen from where? But this guy, what a scouting staff to go find him and get him for what they did. An absolute puck hound. But wait, you kind of alluded to it. I'm so happy for all these guys on this team. Like I couldn't be happier for a group of guys. Leading the way with MacKinnon, just his like sheer competitive nature and the sacrifices he's made to get to where he has. And I'm sure a lot of that, Sidney Crosby has rubbed off on him. It was funny that he ended up coming up in the post game. And I don't know if, Whit, you can correct me here. I believe it was Cogs who went by and screamed in his ear. He was like 87 because he ended up getting lucky. The night before when they checked in, he was in the hotel room 1787. And of course, Cogs having a long past with Sid as well from their training days. And it's awesome to see, man. And a team that just really, really well deserved that thing. And I'm looking forward to getting a couple of them on. I know we had EJ on, and he does such a good job of breaking down that core group and each guy and what they meant to him. And you already touched on it, but Cale Makar, we're witnessing the best defenseman we've ever seen since Bobby Orr. Just a fucking one-man show out there on the ice when he's out there. A one-man breakout, drives offense, recreating the defensive position for like the modern-day NHL player. So hats off to him. I can't really. I could keep giving these fucking double wristers out. I'm going to look like Popeye by the end of the episode. Whit.
Oh yeah, it's there's so many different storylines to go in, and about Makar. I mean, you saw Landeskog's interview on the ice after. Now, so many Canadian fans. I know you had Kyle Bukauskas. I think Elliot was on there, but I didn't get to see it. But we had Emily Kaplan did an unreal job in between her interviews. They had Chelios and Messier with Steve Levy, so it was awesome because I love those emotional interviews on the ice after. Erik Johnson's was so good. He actually had to sprint away. We talked to him about it because they were taking the picture. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to miss the picture." But when Landeskog's doing an interview, and I don't know if this is one I saw from the Canadian broadcaster when I was watching live on ABC, but they said, what happened? How do you do this? He said, go out and find a Cale Makar. I mean, it's like, the 4th overall pick that year. You look at the draft. I think Nolan Patrick went 2. I think Heiskanen went 3. Heskinen's a great player, but I don't remember who was 1 that year. Jesus, I'm drawing a blank. Murr, I don't know if you can look it up or G, but that pick is turning out to be one of the greatest draft picks of all time because you're watching a kid who, Biz, you said it best. He's changing the position in the modern day NHL. And we've seen Scott Niedermayer being able to lead the rush and get back into the play and be the first guy back easily. And Lidstrom, I think he's the greatest defenseman since Bobby Orr. But what you're looking at Makar doing now, add in the physicality. I mean, this kid is a truck. He's not somebody that's kind of shying away from contact. He's running people over. He's reverse hitting people. He's just, EJ says in the interview, he does things. You're like, actually, Biz, I won't even ruin what you said to him, but he said, I'd blow my knee out. And I think that when you see him turn into the player that he's become, that and McKinnon, and I know he needs a new deal, but knowing how much he idolizes Sid and knowing how obsessed he is with winning, McKinnon's going to take a little less. I'll guarantee it right now. Because he's got his cup, he's got plenty of money, and he wants more. He's hungry. And that's what the greatest thing about winning one cup is. And that's what's so hard about these Lightning guys is you win one, it doesn't matter. You win 2, it's you want the next one. And I was going to say about the Lightning, it's like when you lose that game the other night, the 2 cups you won, they're not even in your mind because you wanted the other one. And we'll go into them, but the other thing about Game 6 that I loved, and Biz, we were chatting at the first intermission. Biz and you called me, and I said, Nate Dogg's got to get going here. He got run over by Stamkos. I think he was getting frustrated. He's maybe gripping the stick a little bit tight because he hadn't produced offensively very much in the beginning of the series or most of the Cup final. And it's like he's trying to hit. Merles and I were talking about it. I said, he's got to get going here. And we were still on the phone in the second period when he sniped. I said, there you go. There it is. And I had Tampa, so I was kind of a little bummed out, but I did keep saying, I was like, I'm happy for either one of these teams. I'm really a fan of both of those clubs. But Nathan McKinnon gets the big goal. He ties it up, and he gets the assist too on the Lehkonen goal. And Lehkonen was such a big deal to bring in. I know I kind of was more into Manson, I guess, being a defenseman, knowing what he could bring, how he's so physical, how he's a way better skater than people think. But that Lehkonen deal, I mean, you saw him play maybe one of the biggest roles on the team. Yeah. He was out there in every situation the entire playoff. You could tell how much he meant to that team because of his PK ability. He's just a rat to play against. He's so good. And you know Montreal wanted to keep him, but with their rebuild, it's like we got to get something for him. So Joe Sakic, the other thing, too, is Landeskog. And I think that Landeskog, I know he's not the longest tenured Av. I think that's Erik Johnson, but he's been through a lot there, man. He was the youngest captain in NHL history when they named him captain. And he's had a 10-year stint where there was moments I didn't know if he'd be back. I don't know about you guys, but free agency came and you gotta give Joe Sakic a lot of credit because he looked at this team and he did not panic. He did not get rid of guys. He really thought this was the group that could get it done. With a couple additions, he knew they could get it done. But if you were to look at Landeskog's game, right, not the fastest skater in the world. So when you're looking at giving a guy a deal, he's 30 years old. What do we want to do here? Sakic could have said, listen, he's the emotional leader of this team. He's the captain, but I think we got to possibly move on. And he didn't. And I know Landeskog maybe took a little bit of a hit as well because he wanted to win there. But that guy is a true leader. And I love how you saw the emotion of him getting the Stanley Cup. And you think of McKinnon and Makar. But without Landeskog, that team's not there because he's been there from the very beginning. He's been there from the bottom of the league, and now he's at the top of the league. So we got the chance to interview him once, and you learned right away that this is somebody who a team can build around, not just with his play on the ice, but who he is as a leader. So I just like, there's so many different things we can get into. I just was so impressed that they were able to dig deep and get it done, because listen, if they lost that game, which it really didn't look like they had any chance to lose it after the first period, because Tampa couldn't even get the fucking puck back from them. They were on such a roll. But if they happen to lose that game, you're going back home against Wassofsky game 7. That's panic time.
Yeah.
So I think
tightest arseholes ever.
Yeah, the way they got it done on the road and the celebration after. Oh, and the last thing I'll say about the celebration is I love seeing they got the wives on the ice. I don't ever remember seeing that before. I maybe I'm just totally like forgetting family and wives, but you could see the emotion. I think Landeskog and hugging his wife is just, you see as a fan, like, it's not just the players on the team that are winning this thing, because what family members give up and how little you're around, and the wives are doing so much with the kids, and you're just gone so often, and they're living and dying with every moment that you have as a professional, and as you're chasing your dream. And I think when those guys see their wives or girlfriends and their mothers and fathers, it's like, this is our trophy. Like, we did this together. This is not me and my teammates. Without you and the people away from the rink, I'm nothing. And that's what was so cool about seeing those people get together and being able to share this together, I guess.
Or they're just giving them the same look that your wife gives you when you're hanging out in the car.
She's like,
on the other side,
cup runs over. Cup runs over. Change the fucking diaper and wake up with the kids. I'm done.
And Merles, before we hand it over to you, I mean, we're going to set up a GoFundMe for Landeskog. I know he took a massive pay cut to stay with the Avs, so hoping that McKinnon does the same in order to keep this wagon together. Merles, you've been the insider. You've been riding him the entire time. In fact, you were probably the reason the organization turned around, being the first 29 and then handed it over to Nate. What did you see throughout this run?
Well, just even the first game, I forgot to put the jersey on, and then they're down 1-0. I had to sneak into my bedroom, pull it out. The whole family sleeping in there, and I put it on, and I kind of went on a little rant because it was McKinnon's fault, that first goal. He's running around, and you could tell he's had too much pressure on himself. But put the jersey on, the original 29. I'm pretty sure I'll have to send it to Denver to put it probably next to like the replica cup in the stadium somewhere. But I read a great article on McKinnon, how he basically just took over on the pregame meals. He got rid of the ice cream and chocolate sauce that, all of us loved. He changed the pasta to chickpea pasta or something.
Hero act, Nate, dog.
Yeah, he went all in. Guys were getting traded there, and he was telling them, well, I don't know what you're here for, but we're here to win, so you better get on board. Like, just completely took over that organization and got them where they are now. And
he should probably start like a series like The Biggest Loser, just yelling in people's faces, having them change their diet, complete lifestyle change, Merles.
Yeah. And I know all of that. You guys covered it great. The one thing that rattled me about the celebration was, I know the captain has to go get the cup first, but maybe you can bring them up with you, the assistants. But even then, McKinnon still didn't get it till he was the fourth guy, I believe, to get it.
I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares.
I don't think anyone cares at that point.
Yeah, I really understand that. I understand you don't care, but it's just like, come on. Like, I know Cogliano's older and Erik Johnson's been there 1 year longer. But
actually, Merles wasn't in the interview with EJ. EJ explains it. EJ explains why he got it first. So tune into this interview, and he goes into a little backstory with him and Landeskog in terms of why EJ got it first. But I know what you're saying. You're waiting for like the big dogs to get it. But I think EJ then Cogs made a lot of sense to me with how long EJ's been there, and Cogs over 1,100 games. I actually texted Cogs, right? I was just texting him congrats, and we were shooting the shit a little bit. And so we were talking about Makar, and then he said, "Oh, he's unbelievable." He goes, "Nate yells at him during the periods. Nate gives it to everyone, right? You're not playing well. McKinnon will fucking get in your ass." And he's giving it to Makar at intermissions, and he goes, and Makar answers, "Okay." And then Nate says, "Okay, good talk, Kale." So it's just like, I think McKinnon kind of got a little bit of a bad rap. Remember Zadorov was talking about him. I think it was a Russian paper, and he was talking about kind of how difficult he can be in terms of expectations. But,
MJ.
Yeah, but like it's kind of what Jordan said at the end of that documentary, The Last Dance. He's like, he's getting very emotional. He's like, you could call me an asshole, but I wanted to win. And I never, ever, ever asked anyone to do anything that I wasn't willing to do. And that's the cool viral moment of The Last Dance. And I guarantee McKinnon was doing every single thing he was asking other people to do.
Yeah, he was yelling at himself in the mirror.
He's talking about diet. He's talking about training. He's talking about first guy on the ice. He's talking about every practice, approaching it like it's a game. And I know it sounds crazy to think, but there are some people, these elite level athletes, who are willing to do anything in terms of life management, in terms of thinking about the game nonstop and diving into hockey as your life. And that's why I bring up family members, because it's really hard. I'm guessing, I was never one of those guys. I'm guessing it's pretty hard to live with somebody whose their entire life is their career and what they're willing to do to get to the top of the mountain. So I know that McKinnon probably has guys who've been like down in the dumps when they're not playing well, and he's fucking giving it to them. But what do you think those guys are saying now? They love it. And I also look at when you talked about Sakic and you brought up the moves, Devon Taves.
Oh my goodness.
He took Lou Lamoriello to the woodshed on that one. Thanks, Lou. Take my second rounders and give me this friggin' top 10 defenseman in the league that I could pair with the best defenseman in the world. Thank you. Bye-bye. So the fact that those two were a pair all season, it shows this team was, I guess, unbeatable if you really looked at them on paper, and it turned out to be true.
Talking about the handoff, too. Nate Dogg handed off to Jack Johnson. He's another guy we got to mention. You know, this guy, you know, we talked about the story with his parents screwing him out of all of his dough, and, you know, him being kind of a whipping boy wherever he played, and, you know, analytics nerds shitting on the guy online. He's been a bit of a punching bag, and he goes there in a PTO at the beginning of the year, makes the team. You know, what do you have? Over 1,000 games played. Him and Cogs, two guys over 1,000 games played. Then he gets to lift the cup. Just a heartwarming story for a guy who's taken too much shit in his career, and that was really another name I think we wanted to mention.
Well, and then going back to Cogs, like that says a lot for a guy to get dealt over and be the third guy to get the cup. That's like, that just says what he provided to that locker room. And just going through the list of guys that they brought over, all high character guys, all guys they knew who were going to come slide in and have an easy transition and contribute to hoisting that Stanley Cup. So no doubt on that one. And I don't know if you guys read that story, but and we'll get to it a litlittle bit later in the EJ interview, talking about Cale Makar and how nice of a guy he is, and maybe how simple of a guy he is. I think Taves said, yeah, if he ends up winning the Norris, which he did, I'm going to buy him an iPad as a gift, because I guess he still just uses his phone to watch Netflix on the flights.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
That's such a young kid move, though. It's just like, oh, whatever. I'll just use this. I don't care.
Exactly what they watch. I was like, how do you watch shit on your phone all the time? I can see once in a while, but all the time. Well, hopefully he got himself the iPad.
I was, man, that's unreal. First time ever that somebody's won the Hobey Baker, the Calder, the Norris, the Conn Smythe, and a Stanley Cup. And guys, like
Drury did it without the I guess he didn't get Conn Smythe and Norris. Obviously he's a forward, but he had the Hobey Rookie of the Year in the Cup. But that's wild. I know, thinking about all the defensemen who've kind of won the NCAA title and the Hobey, and it's just, this guy is a legitimate legend in the making. Biz and Merles and RA, I'll get all you guys. Would you say a fair, he's got one now, I think a fair over under for Norris trophies is 4.5.
I was going to say 4.
Give me a million.
Yeah, okay, so 3 more would be a push.
I go the over. I'm on the over. That
this guy, who the fuck is gonna unseat this guy? He's 23. He's 23 years old, and they got him signed. And they got him signed, I think, for less than Nurse. That's no offense to Nurse, but you're just like thinking of other young defensemen. It's like,
and he's on a great team. He's on a great team. That, I think, was the kicker of why he did beat Yossi, is because his team was the number 1 in the league, where Yossi's was 15th or 16th. So, I mean, the only guy I can even think close to him would be Heiskanen in Dallas, who's not a very good team. And then I guess Fox and the Rangers, they're going to be good for a long time. So maybe he'll give them the run.
And I love Adam Fox. And I think Adam Fox could easily win another Norris. But that just shows, like, they're not even on the same planet to me. Yeah. And I actually think Fox will get, he's an 80 point, like his points, I guess, are, if you look at the numbers, that's the thing. If you look at Fox and you look at Makar's numbers, it's one thing. Then just look at the game. You're like, oh my God. Like, it's just like, it's like the people who've never seen hockey, you watch, like, who the fuck is number 8? Why is he able to do that?
One thing we missed out on this year, we didn't get the booze. There was no Gary Bettman. They had
no.
Bill
They
Daly.
still booed him when he brought up his name.
Right, but not the vociferous boos we used to
And
get.
Bill Daly's like, really, guys? The guy's he's on his deathbed with COVID right now. Let's not boo him right now. Fuck, COVID got him and the NBA commissioner. I think they both didn't want to deal with the booze, so they get the COVID excuse.
Yeah, my stunt double had to do it. Well, my stunt double before I lost a few pounds, anyways. Bill Daly. Also, too, you mentioned how the families out on the ice. They've been doing that for a while. They bring the media on the ice, which is a brilliant idea, and it's wicked cool to be part of that if you're covering it as a media person, just to see it. You know, not everything gets picked up by camera, so it's really cool to watch that, experience it, and be a part of it up close. Also, too, poor Phil Pritchard. The team doesn't have the cup for 5 minutes. Already dinged up right when they were going to do the group photo. I think it was Obey Kubel dropped it. Boom, huge dent in the cup. Phil Pritchard looked like he wanted to cry before they even got the cup off the ice, but I don't know. I suppose that stuff's going to happen. Also, too, we got to give our hats off to the dethroned champs, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hadn't lost a series since Columbus back in 2019. Pat Maroon, 3 cups in a row, and obviously feel bad for the Worm. Lost 3 cups in a row with 3 different teams. Thank God he had the 07 Cup with the Ducks to take away some of the sting. Just a tough thing for that guy. And also, it's too long to play the whole clip, but if you can see the interview that Cooper does with Weeksy, man, just a terrific sportsmanship he showed. And he said, I think I'll remember this team the most of the ones that he's had the last 3 years. So
talk about no quit. Holy shit.
Nuts.
I mean, I'm saying Cicerelli because we interviewed Dino Cicerelli, but Cirelli, he couldn't even move his arm, dude. The guy was so injured. He couldn't even, the fact he's out there, Braden Point even giving it a go in the playoffs after what happened in Toronto was one thing. And just the will that these guys had. I mean, 2 runs to the Cup final. You got the bubble you got last year, and they're going back. They win an insane first-round series against Toronto. They continue to go on and just like dummy the Panthers, followed by a ridiculous comeback win against the Rangers. And then they get to the final, and they win a Game 5 on the road. It's like that one game is – when you think of the Tampa Bay Lightning in those 3 years and what they just did, to go in, they could have laid down. It was it. We're down 3-1. We're going back to Colorado. Nope. They put in the effort of a lifetime just to get it back to Game 6. And the thing is, like, in Game 6, when I mentioned that they couldn't even touch the puck when Colorado got going, you could tell it was like they just had nothing left. They had nothing left. And they'd given it so much and so much effort. But the fact that they were still there and the fact that you saw the emotion in these guys' eyes as the game ended, I think somebody went up to Vasilevsky and the camera panned to him. He's just, you could tell he was despondent. Like I said, those 2 cups, they didn't mean shit because we just lost one. And I love Cooper's interview with Weeksy was so good because you know that guy understands what just happened because he saw what they were battling through. I think he mentioned, like, you have no idea what guys were going through back there. Yeah. And so, like, to actually know that we could have easily shut it down. Oh, we won 2 cups. Let's whatever. We're down to Toronto 3-2. It's not our year. There was just such zero quit in that team. And I love how Cooper also mentioned, like, this isn't the end of our run. And I mean, that who isn't signed there? I mean, they got Hedman, they got Cooch, they got Point, they got McDonough, they got Sergachev, they got Bazzi. What?
They got to sign Palat, no?
Palat, excuse me. Palat. So that's a big one. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out that team because you watched like true greatness, and it wasn't even in a win because you see that a team that's done it twice already was willing to sacrifice that much. It just shows what that team's made of and why they won the two to begin with.
And I know nobody wants to hear it, but like with the injuries, I would have liked to have seen a healthy Tampa Bay go up against Colorado. I think it would have been. I think that would have for sure gone to 7, and it would have been as lopsided as far as play in my concern, as far as I'm concerned. The Point injury is a kick in the dick. Cooch obviously was not 100%. My heart goes out to Paul and Hagel, the guys who came over who didn't win a cup. You go through that whole run and then don't got nothing to show for it. I tweeted out that it's kicking the dick for Corey Perry, but you guys mentioned he had the 07 Cup, so at least he's got one. You're not seeing another Hossa type situation where he ends up fucking losing them. But no, you said it, Whit. No fighting or no quitting that team. Unbelievable run and a great push and a very entertaining final.
Yeah, Nick Paul, man, he really impressed me. The guy, picked up from Ottawa was there, like one of their best fucking performers as a forward the whole playoff. So I'm sure he's going to be getting a nice payday his next
Did
deal.
you guys see the picture of Nichushkin's foot and like how I think he needed trainers to put his skate on? He could barely even move, and the bruise is probably broken. And like it's like those are the little things that you think about and you understand. Like every guy was playing through something, and some were worse than others, but there wasn't one guy who walking to the rink before game 6 in either team that felt great. Something's killing you. And that's why I think when the cup comes out, I'm always emotional watching it, because it's like, what these people are going through to literally live out a dream that they've had since they were 6 years old.
And as safe as it felt, the Avs winning that game there, right at the end, I don't know how many minutes it was left, they made a cross-ice pass, and Kucherov got his one-timer off from that same spot, and Kemper squeezed it. That goes in, it's 2-2, and as much as they were worn down, they were right there. It was a great performance by them. They're unbelievable, and like you said, they'll be right back in it again next year.
I mentioned Kadri was supposed to have a 6-week recovery. He cut it to 2. He scores the overtime winner in game 4. Biz, I know you wanted to get into this a little bit. Somewhat of a controversy, I guess, that people thought that there were too many men on the ice. Cooper mentioned it in his press conference, and he apologized the next day. Biz, I want to go to you on this one. I know you want to break it down.
So we had the live stream, and I think that everybody was looking at it like the point of this is whoever wins this game's winning the series. I didn't think that the Avs were going to blow a 3-1 lead. An incredible game by Tampa, extremely hard fought. You get Kadri back in the mix. You didn't know how that was going to mess with the feng shui of the lineups and how the ice time gets distributed. I think we can all agree on the fact that they were up 2-0, that they probably held Kadri back from playing game 3 to see if they could just kind of keep this thing rolling and not have to use him given the circumstances. I think it came out in a report, thumb broken in 2 spots, surgery, and then from the date of the injury to when he played in that game 4, 18 days. Absolutely insane. I can't even imagine what he got shot up with. So then comes the controversy. We got to get to it. And I don't think it's controversy. Grinelli, I talked to you about it. You had a bit of an issue saying that it should have been too many men. That's the type of change that happens almost all game long. If you end up going
with you so much on that too.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So going back to last year, when Tampa Bay won 1-0 against the Islanders, a very, very similar change ends up happening where you could list them off, 7 guys on the ice.
Was the guy stand? All right, go ahead. Sorry. So
no, you're fine. I know. Hey, I know you're passionate about this, and I'm sure we're going to be able to break the whole thing down. What I didn't like about the Avs player who was changing was he didn't make the effort to jump right away. He got lazy with his change where it seemed like he got to the bench and then was like, okay, where's the door? So by the time that Kadri, he did jump a little bit early. But as I said, you see this so much throughout the course of every single playoff game. If you started calling it the way that you're saying they should have called it, you're going to have too many men penalties going left and right. And at that point in the game, it's like you're in overtime. So you've probably been letting it slide the whole game. You're not going to call it at that point. Now he gets sprung free on that breakaway, fresh legs right off the bench, goes in and scores. I just think that you're seeing this far too much throughout the course of a game to all of a sudden call that. Now, you saw the post-game press conference. John Cooper was fucking fuming. He answered half of the first question and then ended up storming off. He then apologized for it the next day at his press conference, saying that, his emotions were running high. And then after looking at it, he kind of rescinded his original penalty or his original thought on it. But Whit, you think that's too many men on the ice and that should have been disallowed?
Yeah, I do. And the tweet from Kaylee Mazzell, KAILEY MIZELLE. I think there's close to 1 million views. She writes, "This is the most damning footage I've seen yet." I don't even know what that word means. Dude, Kadri, Nichushkin skating to the bench, and he looks like he's coming to the bench, and Kadri hops on. I am almost positive he literally thinks he's hopping on for Nichushkin. Now, maybe he knows he has McKinnon who ends up changing himself. But it looks like, all right, when Kadri hops on, if you watch this video and Nichushkin were to change, no problem. He hops on. Nichushkin then turns away from the bench. He goes to center ice, and then McKinnon comes into the picture, and he's just gliding over there. It was a very legitimate long moment of 6 skaters on the ice. And I think because of that, it's like, man, if there's a guy at the bench and you hop on, it's one thing. And I know you say this happens before. It happened with the Gord goal, Islanders, Tampa the year before, but I don't know. Watch this video, dude. And granted, it's in slow motion, but it looks like Nichushkin's changing and Kadri hops on, and he just goes right back into the play. There's 7 guys on the ice, including the goalie, and all of a sudden McKinnon comes into the picture, just gliding to the bench. And I think with what Cooper has seen in his time in the league, he had a right to be upset after that game. And I think the league probably was disgusted at the way he handled his interview. He's like, I'm not even talking to you guys. I could talk to you tomorrow. I'm heartbroken for these players. But when I saw a couple of different angles, man, it's hard for me to say that I don't agree with him. Because there is too many men on the ice, and when you have that many guys on the ice, and you have certain players from Tampa looking around, and then Kadri's busting through the middle fresh off the bench, you're like, wait a minute, I have this guy. How's that guy open? And I thought it made a difference. Still, I don't want to take anything away from the move Kadri made, because to go under the triangle like that and shelf, that was sick.
That's a move we've talked about a few times on here the last few episodes.
Working the triangle, baby.
Working the triangle, kids at home.
What did you make of it, Merles? Did you think it should have been too many men? I mean, come on, you see that play so much. And going back to Cooper quick, I love that raw emotion right after in the press conference. Hockey needs more of that shit. And I'm also not saying he was wrong, but I just figured going back to last year, Merles, when they ended up capitalizing on an opportunity in which they had 7 guys listed on the ice. I don't know if you freeze the tape and slow it down that you're saying that McKinnon's 3 feet more to the middle of the ice, more so than maybe the guys from Tampa were in the situation against the Islanders.
It's definitely a tough call, but if you do watch the clips, Tampa Bay was changing belligerently too. They had 6 or 7 guys on the ice. Watch that part of the clip. So I understand the frustration. Cooper knew exactly what he was doing with all those press conferences. He knows that gamemanship. He's going to get some calls the next game. And that's part of the reason of his greatness is working the refs like that. And that call could go either way, but you still got to stop Kadri. He does under the triangle, and then he beats Vasi. So.
R.A., what did you think of it all? I know Grinelli was very vocal about it in saying that he thought it should have been too many men.
That's because he bet Tampa.
You know, it is because I bet Tampa.
Because I don't during the game, I don't remember anyone yelling at the TV, too many men, and usually that's indicative of someone noticing it, because I know it was a live stream, was kind of hectic, but I don't think anybody called it out right when it happened, so I don't think it was that obvious. And even Ryan McDonough said he didn't think it was anything, shouldn't have been called. Of course, Jared Bednar.
Did McDonough say that?
Yeah. Yeah, McDonough did. He said it's something that happens.
Honestly, once a player in the game says it, I'm fucking done. I changed my mind.
He said, it happens a million times like that. And Coop, to his credit, when he apologized the next day, and, he said that's what happens sometimes when you're getting someone right off the ice to that situation. I brought up Milan Lucic a bunch of times, and when we used to interview him in Boston, he's a guy who probably always needed a few extra minutes to cool off, because you're going from the heat of battle, and then you got these microphones in your face, and sometimes it's tough just to get to that mode. So. Coop's a good guy. He obviously didn't mean well. He apologized when he probably didn't even need to. But
in some
I had
cases,
no problem with no penalty.
And in some cases, they say that they're going to get up and walk away because he's saving himself the fine with the mouthful. I'm sure he would have probably laid into the officials with maybe a few F-bombs inserted in there. Now, Grinelli, you also thought that played a part, because we hadn't talked till, I believe, after Game 5. And I do think that played a part in the fact that I feel like Tampa was getting away with murder in some cases. There was a big trip on Nate Dogg that was missed. So you could definitely see that they got the advantage.
And they got too many men on the ice. And Colorado got too many men on the ice in Game 5. That's power by Cooper.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing the puppeteer act for sure. So definitely a different storyline in there. And then I don't know. I guess you kind of already touched on it. We were going to go to Game 5 with, but it pretty much embodies exactly what that Tampa Bay team and their core group and the way that they're able to battle and handle adversity. And that's the reason why they went back to back. They went down with a fight. And I do hope that they're able to get some rest and recover this offseason, and I hope we don't see the end of them. you could see a situation like, Edmonton went 2 in a row, missed 1 year, and then went 2 in a row, man. They still got that core intact. So all the credit in the world to them and Coop. And he's going to have to wait for Phil Jackson status.
That goal, of course, is very reminiscent of Patrick Kane's cup winner back in 2010. I mean, only a couple people seem to know he actually scored. And then did you see Stamkos go over and like knock the puck down?
Yeah.
Afterwards, nobody was going to know.
Yeah, there's no video replay.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the effort on that one. But and the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes of that game is prison rules. Game 4, absolute prison rules.
Game 5.
No, the game
Both
4
of
was
them.
the last. Yeah, game 5, but particularly game 4, man. They were.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many uncalled penalties, it was kind of refreshing to see, given the way things have gone. So
Lower the cage.
Did you guys have any thoughts on game 5 you wanted to share, or did you want to maybe send it over to Erik Johnson, or what?
I think we could throw it over to EJ.
All right. Okay. I know we can tidy up the series after that. But yeah, I think it's time to send it over to Erik Johnson. First, I want to let you know that his interview is brought to you by our friends at Roman. What would you want to last longer? Summer nights, playoff overtime, nights with the fellas or the gals? Well, Roman wants you to last longer in bed. 340% better in bed. Roman swipes are the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman swipes are uniquely formulated to reduce overstimulation without eliminating sensation altogether. The more consistent you are with the swipes, the longer and better your sex will be. The swipes are super easy to use. You take the swipe out of the packet, you apply it, you let it dry for 5 minutes, and then you enjoy longer lasting sex. So go to GetRoman.com/chiclets to get $10 off swipes when you choose a monthly plan. And now we're going to send it over to new Stanley Cup champion, Erik Johnson. Man, we're very thankful this guy was able to make some time for us on such short notice. Sunday night in Tampa in his 14th NHL season and his 12th in Denver, he became a Stanley Cup champion when the Colorado Avalanche won their first Stanley Cup in 21 years. Thanks so much for joining us on the Spittin Chiclets podcast. Stanley Cup champion Erik Johnson. Congratulations, my friend.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you guys taking the time to have me on.
Absolutely. I saw you woke up with a stranger in bed today, a 35-pound silver stranger, namely.
That was a good one to wake up to. That's for sure. I've had some worse ones, but that was a good one to wake up to.
I thought that was posed. I thought you were still up from the night. Like, all right, I got to pretend like I woke up. I haven't slept a wink.
The old slump buster.
Man, honestly, I think most of us went to bed around 7:30, and then I couldn't get to bed. It was just, we were on such a high, from winning the cup, and I think I slept 90 minutes, and then I got a knock on my door, and Landy was butt naked with the cup in the hallway. So it was a nice morning delivery.
Oh, man.
You need it that size to probably cover the wrench he's got. The fucking guy's got everything that man missing. Now he's got the ring and he's got the fat fucking contract.
Hey, he's got everything but a skate blade at one point in the biggest part of the game, Biz, but he was crawling off the ice.
Oh man, what a stud he is. Yeah, it was a nice delivery, that's for sure, this morning.
So did you have any idea you were going to be the first guy to get handed it? Like, that's so awesome, dude, and well deserved.
Thank you. Yeah, I did, Biz. Landy, I think it was even after the year that we finished last. He goes, when we win this thing, I'm giving it to you first. And you kind of think in the back of your mind, like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, it's so hard to win. You never really know if it's going to happen. And he kept saying it and kept saying it. And even throughout the course of this season, he was just like, when we win it, I'm giving it to you. And it was just amazing. He's such a great guy, and he's one of my best friends. He always makes fun of me and said I was the last cut for his wedding for a groomsman. So he's
but I'll get you the cup.
Yeah, he's one of my great boys. So it was super special to share the moment with him, definitely.
I've known you a long time, and seeing the interview that you gave after, I think, to Emily Kaplan for the United States feed, it was just, I felt so happy for you, and to hear you talk about almost retiring and what you've been through and the last place finishes. Try to take me through your mind as it all happens. I see you with McKinnon. Are you even thinking yet, like, I cannot believe this, or are you just completely in celebration mode? Like, it took you a while to become so thoughtful, I thought, in those answers.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give I want to give an answer that, just wasn't the cliche hockey answers. I really wanted to make it come from the heart. And I think, you really have to reflect and think to make sure that you do that. And for me, I just, it's been such a career of ups and downs, and, some faults of my own, some faults of bad luck, some faults of just, the way that your hockey career unfolds. But I just, I really just wanted to reflect on what had happened and kind of take it in. And, you always kind of dream about that interview after you win the cup of how it's going to feel and what you're going to say. And, I think it sounds better in your head. And then, you're never really sure how it sounds when it comes out. But I haven't listened to it or watched it yet. But, I had a lot of texts where, people said that, they were crying and it brought them to tears and just moved them. And, I didn't try to do that. I just was trying to speak from my heart and how it really felt in the moment. And, I'm glad to hear that it captured that.
Biz, I feel right now like Gretzky when he get traded. I told Biz I wouldn't do this. I'm getting emotional listening to you tell this stuff. And that's why the other scene that I loved was your parents. Was that the first time you saw them when they interrupted that interview?
I saw them in the stands because I was asking Brendan McNicholas, our great PR person, where they were sitting, and he pointed me to where they were. So I got to wave to them before I lifted the cup. So when I lifted the cup, I knew where they were. I knew where my girlfriend was sitting, so I knew where they were all at. So that was super cool. And they've stuck with me all the way. And like I mentioned in some of the interviews, just that's what it's all about. You surround yourself with people that believe in you. And if you believe in yourself, what else really matters, right? So it was nice to share that with them.
Talk about sticking with it. You guys were dead last in the league 5 years ago. You end up getting kind of screwed on the draft, get 4th overall. Yeah. And with that pick, you guys get Cale Makar. And at this rate, this guy looks like the next Bobby Orr. What is it like being on a team with this guy? What do you think the ceiling is? And I'll just let you run with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, you run out of words to describe him. He's not like a real person. Like nobody that good is like that nice and that humble. You know what I mean? Like he's a
robot.
It's crazy. Like he's just, you'd want your sister to marry this guy 10 times over. You know what I mean? It's just, he's just such a stud. And like, what he does out there, you just shake your head sometimes. Like people shouldn't be able to do that. Like I watch him do that and I'm like, my knee would explode if I tried to do like half the shit he does. You know what I mean? It's just,
and it has.
Oh fuck, a couple times. Like it's just crazy. Like he's such a great guy. Like he's so humble. He's the best defenseman in the world, and he looks like he'd be like your science tutor buddy. It's just like who is this guy? He's just so
Harry Potter.
He's the man. Like I'm so proud of him because like nothing gets to his head, and he's. I don't know what his ceiling is. Like, how can you get much better than what he is now? He's the best, maybe the best player in the world. So it's awesome. Happy for him.
EJ, embrace what Nate Dogg was great. It looked like that Vancouver couple during the riot a few years back, and you could see the raw emotion in your face. How psyched were you for the Nate Dogg having such a huge hand in the clinching game?
Yeah,
69 out there.
Yeah, we were missionary out there for sure. No, I mean, I'm so after him because I just know how invested he is. Like, nobody really knows behind the scenes what this guy puts into his craft. I mean, he's got a full-time body therapist that he lives in Denver that moved here from Calgary. He's got a personal chef. He's got so much stuff going on that really rubs off on guys, and he just drags into the fight. Like he'll shoot you that look, and it doesn't matter who you are, whether it's me or it's Gabe or it's anyone. He's not fucking around. Like he's there to win. He's all business, and even in practice, I mean, you fuck up a rep in practice, I mean, you're getting your head chewed off. And it just brings everybody's level up. And I'm happy for him because these are special people. Like Cale's a special guy, Nate's a special guy, Gabe's a special guy, and you look at these guys and they're just a different breed, and they deserve to win, and you want to fight that much more for those guys.
I texted Cogs this morning because as having played with him, I could tell how much everyone loved him just from the experience I had with him. Like once you meet a guy like that, you're like, anywhere that guy goes, he's going to be one of everyone's favorite teammates. And I think you handed it to him, correct?
Yes.
And then he turned around. It was an unreal picture and image of like the whole team was just so fired up for him. So can you explain to the people listening, like how meaningful it was to see him win after the long career he's had? And he got screwed on that Ironman streak too. So he's been through a lot. He
did. I mean, I think the best part is watching everybody else with the cup. That's by far the best part. And I've known Cogs a little bit, just training with him in the off season. And I mean, what he did for our team in the short amount of time that he was here had a huge impact. I mean, you know, sometimes it takes a little while to get acclimated to a team, but he fit right in. And he actually called a meeting the night before Game 6 just to get all the guys together and get everyone's thoughts out there. And he stood up and spoke. And I think there were tears in guys' eyes from what he said. And that, hearing from a guy like that, you know how much it means to him. I mean, he broke his finger and had surgery, and I think he played a week later. I mean, just the grind that he went through to get it done, I was proud of him because, you know, you played with them, and you, like I said, you want to win for guys like that because, you know, it's so hard to win. And I was telling our young guys, our rookies, I'm like, you look around and you soak this moment in because you don't know if you're going to be back. If you're lucky this happened your first year. We've been waiting 15 years. So, you know, to win for guys like that means a lot.
Erik, there's a video of you going around. You took a sort of a final lap on the ice by yourself with your cell phone. What was going through your mind doing that?
I needed to just get a moment away. I couldn't see with the fucking champagne in my eyes. And me and Gabriel out there, and we FaceTimed a couple of our close buddies because I had a couple of buddies at the game and they couldn't get down to the ice because we didn't have enough family wristbands. So I was just telling them, meet me at the hotel. We're having a party at the hotel. So it was kind of just a moment to unwind and reflect. And yeah, it looked cool on the video, but it was kind of just, you know, it was like your kid and, you know, you just finished a game of pond hockey and you're just cruising out there with your buddies. So it was pretty sweet.
DJ, I don't know if you had a chance to hear the quote from Kadri, basically all the doubters who were doubting him in Toronto can kiss his ass. You mentioned playing through injury with Cogliano with his broken finger. Another guy who got to get surgery, came back from it, has that huge overtime goal in Game 4. What did Kadri coming over mean to your team? What's he like behind the scenes? And it was pretty special to watch.
Yeah, Biz. I mean, he's just a gamer. I mean, I kept going down the line. I'm like, we don't win the cup without this guy. We don't win the cup without this guy. We don't win the cup without this guy. And you get to Nas, and you really don't fucking win the cup without this guy. And I mean, he broke his thumb in 2 places, had surgery, and he played in like 18 days. I mean, he should have been out another 5 weeks. Like, what these guys were doing to get ready to play, it was just unbelievable. You know, they're in the doc's office before the game, getting numbed up. You know, they're getting the shots and I mean, all legal stuff, but and I mean, Tampa was doing the same thing. They had guys battling through injuries, but Nas, like, he should not have been playing. Like, there's just no way he should not have been playing. And the goal he scored in Game 4. He's just a gamer. I mean, he's going to get paid this summer, and he deserves it because he's just, I mean, what a stud. He's just got that swagger about him. You know what I mean? He's just he oozes that confidence and rubs off on guys.
I look at like Jack Johnson too, because I remember I was seeing or hanging out with David Quinn at BU, who I think was coaching the national program when you guys were there.
Yep.
And Jack's a year older than you, and I heard about him first, and I asked him about him. He's like, "Yeah, he's incredible. You got to see this other kid, another Johnson, a year younger than him." So full circle. You two are battling it out together and get your first Stanley Cup. And, you know, he's been through a lot. Everyone knows his story, and it's been unfortunate. So to see him win and having known him for as long as you have, like, explain that relationship a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I've known Jack since we were 15. He's a year older than me. I looked up to him. Obviously his story's well documented and, you know, not any fault of his own for sure. I mean, just a shitty story. And, you know, he kind of ups and downs too. And you land on your feet. I mean, he came in on a PTO this year, and I mean, he was playing top 4 minutes for us at one point. I mean, he really was a key piece to what we were doing. And when we won, and then, you know, everyone has the cup and everyone's taking pictures. He found me across the ice and he goes, I want you to come take a picture with me with the cup. This, like, I really want to take a picture with you. Like, this means a lot to me. Like, you know, so that, you know, it brought a tear to my eye almost, just because, you know, I knew it meant a lot to him that we did it together. So, you know, special moments are better when you share it with special people. And that's kind of what we did and what we all, you know, had the opportunity to accomplish together.
Who was drunkest last night?
Francouz by far.
Oh yeah,
man! I'm telling you, like, Landy's having this speech in the locker room. Like, I'm so proud of you guys. We did it. And then Francouz out of left field. We're gonna win it again next year too. It's like, dude, let the captain have his moment. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, it was so funny. But another guy, you know, you go down the list. Fuck, you don't win the cup without him. I mean,
6-0, right?
In the playoffs for us.
EJ, I know you mentioned you almost retired last summer. Just how close were you to retire? Now, what was the draw that made you come back for the next year?
Yeah, man. I mean, I was sick and tired of getting hurt. Like, sick of it. I couldn't catch a fucking break. You know, I'd go out for a routine block shot, break my leg, fall on the boards, break my kneecap, take a bad fall, concussion. I mean, I know other guys, everyone goes through their injuries, but it was like fucking 2 years, boom, 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 8 weeks, 12 weeks, couldn't play in the playoffs, had my best season, couldn't play in the playoffs. So then the concussion, I felt like shit all year. And I turned the corner in July. I was like, I'm only playing in Colorado. I'm only playing here. Like, I don't want to play anywhere else. And, you know, there was kind of a question mark whether that was going to happen. You know, it's tough. Like, I could see Joe's situation. Like, how can you rely on this guy? He's had a ton of injuries. Like, you know, he really only plays 60 games a year with all his injuries. So I got his perspective. He called me in July and he's like, EJ, you know what? If you're healthy, we need you. And that kind of gave me the fucking spark and kick in my ass where, you know, I was getting ready to play, but I was starting to feel better. And then I really turned a corner. And I owe a lot to Joe. He really stuck with me. And, you know, 5 years ago, we were last. I went to him. I said, I want to be a part of the solution. Please, please, please. Wow. Let's get this done together. And he said, I can't make any promises, which, you know, wasn't the greatest thing to hear, but it's all fun now, right? I mean, it's just amazing feeling. I could die happy.
Hey, even when the expansion draft was up, didn't you volunteer yourself to be unprotected so they could even keep some of their young pieces intact?
Yeah, I mean, Joe came to me and he's like, would you waive? And I said, well, Seattle would be crazy to take me, right? Like, I didn't play all year. I had injury troubles. I was, you know, I'm come from my own skin. You know, I'm an honest critic of myself. I know what I am, who I am. And, you know, I just said, sure, you know what, if it's going to help the team out, I'll do it. I didn't think Seattle would take me. Thankfully, they didn't. Thankfully, I came back and played. Even my dad asked me last summer, he's like, are you really going to go back and play again? I was like, you know what? I'm feeling that pull, like something's pulling me back, you know, like you get that pull that, you know, that something's eating at you. Like you got to do this. And,
unfinished business.
You'd never forgive yourself.
Oh, exactly. I mean, man, thank God it all worked out. You know, the stars align and you get lucky.
And how much does Bednar play in a factor of how much guys also love showing up to the rink? Because you talk about a player's coach, you see his post-game press conferences and how calm, cool, and collective he is all the time. I don't know if he's ever snapped in the locker room. Seems like he hasn't, but he just seems like the best guy ever.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's got that blend, right? He's got the balance of player's coach, and, you know, if you're not playing well, he'll give you a kick in the ass. And you know, I went up to him last night. I'm like, so you've won 3 titles now, right? The Coast, the AHL, and the NHL. And he didn't say anything. He just went. I'm like, 5 titles. And he's like, 5 titles. I'm like, okay, congrats, man. That's awesome. So he couldn't take the compliment of the Coast, the A, and the NHL. He's like, no, I got 5. I'm like, oh, all right. So
yeah, he's got dad of the year from his kids and then husband of the year from his wife.
Yeah, so I was laughing. I'm like, all right, he's got 5 titles. But honestly, I read that he's the first coach in history to win all 3. So he's a winner, right? I mean, that just doesn't happen by mistake. You got to really be dedicated at your craft and know what you're doing and push all the right buttons at the right time. And he has.
I got one more for EJ. I know the Blink-182 song's been all the rage, all the small things, but I couldn't help but notice when you were raising the cup in the room, little Dancing in the Moonlight, an old school song. Where'd that come from?
So I started listening to that. My buddy got married last summer, and that was his first dance song with his wife. And I was like, this song is fucking awesome. Like, we got to implement this into our locker room somehow. So it wasn't lively enough to be our win song. So we had Heat Waves, which is so cool. Late nights in the middle of June, I'm always thinking about you, whatever the line is. So about the cup, right? And so then I was playing Dance in the Moonlight right after that all year long. And I just think it's such a cool old school song. And I was jamming to that. And it was kind of my anthem for the summer last year. And I'm going to play it a bunch this summer too.
Nice. Love to see it.
So I know you got to run. I think your uncle, you said, on TV or something, but just give us quickly before you take off. What does the next 48 hours look like? Like, do you guys know what's up for tonight? besides getting crushed, I'm talking about where.
Yeah. Honestly, so we were setting up our party tonight and we're calling around all these bars, me and Gabe and his wife, and they're like, we can't go anywhere because they're all sold out of alcohol. So Denver drank this fucking town dry last night. There was like one place we could go to in all of downtown that could fit, 200 people. So this town's out of fucking booze, which is fucking awesome, right? So, so we're excited. It's going to, I think we're going to maybe head out for a boys trip to Vegas, maybe in a couple of days. And we're just going to soak it up.
You're probably getting that call right now, buddy. Well-deserved. Congratulations. You guys deserve it. And maybe we'll have to pop over to Vegas to fucking enjoy the festivities.
Please do. You guys are welcome. I really appreciate you guys having me on. Good catching up with you. Hopefully we run into each other.
Our pleasure, pal.
No, buddy. Congratulations. Have a great one.
All right. Thanks, boys.
Wow, huge thanks to Erik Johnson for joining us. We were lucky to get him in such short notice, and what a hilarious interview, too. He had us in stitches, man. Guys get some personality, and congrats to him. Well-earned, and just interesting. He almost came that close to retiring, came back and wins the Stanley Cup. So,
Merles, I wish you were a part of that because you had told me after. He's a horse guy?
Yeah, he's a big horse owner.
He's got one named Biz Nasty.
Is he owner of that one?
Yeah, he's got a horse named Biz Nasty.
Yeah, I've seen him up in Saratoga a couple of times. So it'll be interesting if he's up there this summer again. Maybe he'll bring the cup and have his party.
I was just thinking he might bring the cup there. I know he's got a horse, Landeskog. Landeskog.
Yeah, more like Landis Hog now. Holy shit, dude. Imagine that, waking up to him with the Stanley Cup with his fucking schlong hanging out. He should start an OnlyFans. He can make up for some of that money he lost when he signed with the Abs. He doesn't have to start the GoFundMe.
I heard. Okay. Sorry.
So I was going to say his interview was also brought to you by Body Armor, because today's athletes deserve more than just your grandfather's tired, old, salty sports drink, which is full of artificial dyes. Enter Body Armor with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, B vitamins, plus no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Body Armor Sports Drink provides hard work and hydration. I'm a big fan of the old strawberry banana, but I like them all. And Body Armor is going to be at the Chiclets Cup as our hydration partner. So make sure you stop by the hydration station while you're out there. Get loaded up, stay hydrated. Body Armor helps today's athletes stay on top of their game. Body Armor. It's available for purchase in-store and on Amazon now. And you know what else is available for sale? Columbus Championship merch in the Barstool store. Gee, we got all kinds of good stuff for the fans.
Not Columbus. Columbus didn't make playoffs this year, right? And we were riffing right before that.
Have another one, RA.
Have another one. Hey, Merles, what were you going to say before RA cut you off so everybody could stay hydrated?
I was just, because you were talking about Landeskog, I heard a great interview of how he grew up in 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever, however many years old before he left for Canada. He had a huge Colorado Avalanche poster in his bedroom growing up.
Did he?
And it was only fitting that he got drafted by there and then he finally brought the Stanley Cup back there. I thought that was a great story because you don't hear much about like the Swedes. There's 30 teams they could pick, but I'm sure he picked it because of Forsberg. But I thought that was incredible.
Was that who was on the poster?
It was all the Avalanche. I think it was a Stanley Cup team or something like that. So it was pretty cool.
Guys, real quick. So RA mentioned Chiclets Cup there in that Body Armor read. How soon is too soon to reach out to Pat Maroon to play on the Barstool team? We jumped up a couple divisions. He played after last year's Cup. We need some help. We lost Rudy. We lost Riggs. We lost Patrick Sharp. Like a week, 2 weeks. Biz, what's your thought on that?
I actually texted him post game in order to join us, so I haven't heard back from him. But maybe I got the wrong number, or maybe I was blocked for that reason. So, Patty Maroon, listen. It's never too soon. He's won 3 Stanley Cups. If there's one guy we're not going to feel sorry for here, it's fucking Patty Maroon. And if he wants to hop back on the wagon to join a championship team, join the Barstool roller hockey team. Because I tell you what, if I needed a guy for foot and for the ball hockey division, he would definitely be on my squad. So I'd say you can reach out to him anytime.
I'll shoot him a text right now, Biz.
Try to catch him on the end of the season bender right now. Drunk promise always is a good way to get someone.
Oh, yeah.
Hold him to it. A couple other notes here, too. I mean, going back to Makaz, 29 points is the 4th most by a defenseman in the playoffs. He had 60 points in 54 games. That's the 3rd fastest ever for a D-man in playoff history after Bobby or Leach. And we actually saw him swear. This is a guy we didn't know he was capable of swearing. I think he called one of the refs a fucking joke. He was going in a breakaway. Looked like he was clearly hooked or some jostled in some way.
How about EJ mentioning how Kale's like the nicest guy in the world? What do you think he snaps about off the ice? Because I mean, we've seen him snap on the ice a few times about calls, but he says that he's pretty much unratable off the ice.
I don't know. He seems like one of those guys that watches like network CBS ABC shows with no swearing and commercials, and like maybe he's just like one of those guys when what's that show about the family, Modern Family, like maybe he's pissed off when Phil does something. Like I don't see that guy getting upset at anything normal.
Maybe when they do a rerun of Big Bang Theory. And
yeah, exactly. He's one of those guys who watches those shows. Sheldon, young Sheldon.
Merles, what do you think Cale Makar snaps about? What gets him rattled?
I haven't really thought about that. I get all my inside scoops from his coaches at UMass, but I always am looking for the hockey scoops on him. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm just a totally different guy than that guy. I was not good at hockey. I like to party. I swear a ton when I play, which I finally figured out this year. Like I swear way too much. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm the complete opposite of Cale Makar.
Because usually when you get guys that nice, they got something, behind closed doors that's fucking going on that's shady. So he's like the Ned Flanders. At one point, he's going to snap about something, or maybe he's up to something behind the scenes. Too nice to be trusted, RA.
Yeah, well, he did get pissed on the ice that one clip there, Biz, when he was coming down the breakaway. I'm not sure. It looked like someone got a hook on him, and looks like he was barking at the ref. So you're a fucking joke, it looked like he said. So he does get a little bit of that side in him. We don't see it too often, but I don't know. Maybe he gets pissed when his fucking phone's not working. He can't watch Netflix.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe when he does have a full charge for the flight, or and maybe that's why they got bent over in Game 5 on officiating, because Cale Makar, a couple years in the league, just swearing at officials. So the next Bobby Orr needs to tone it down out there.
How much are we going to see Coop and like future gifts of making it rain during the game? I think before the end of the game, I saw about 200 uses of it already. Pretty funny stuff. You just catch
somebody posted like NHL GMs come free agency to big slow defensemen who are liabilities, and then it's just like.
Yeah, exactly. A few other notes from the series too. The Avs finished with the power play of 32.8%. Like I mentioned last show, they're going to be just one of 4 teams to ever finish over 30%. Just incredible stuff there.
And Tampa's power play went ice. They went ice in the final.
Yeah,
and that's kind of you always talk to special teams. There was no chance once the man advantage started for Colorado all playoff long.
Let's see. The Avs just one of 5 preseason favorites in the last 35 years to win the Cup. So that was
you got the other 4?
No, they didn't have them listed. And that's hockey odds, old hockey odds, they're really hard to find. But just goes to show the chalk, man. That's only 5 times in the last 35 years, Merles, the chalk has cashed.
Yep. They're the chalk already for next year, plus 425.
I want to talk about futures, and we're going to skip ahead here a little bit. All of a sudden, we're on this. Well, I guess we weren't on the stream quite yet, but we were watching the NHL awards, and all of a sudden, RA's cheering for Roman Josi, who apparently you put 2 dimes down on at 18-1 to win the Norris, and that was the first that we'd heard of it. Me and Whit from the halfway point of the season.
You never said this, RA.
We were barking at each other. I defriended Whit for 3 weeks over the Roman Josi.
And I won.
That's fuck. Now I lost that $500 that I'd originally won over the bunting bet. The fact that he would be the 3 finalists. Fuck. But a neck-to-neck race that you didn't tell us that you had a future on.
All right. First off, I only had 200 on it, not 2 dimes, just to clarify, because that's a huge difference.
I thought that was the same thing. Sorry.
Either way, it was a decent bet. I could have sworn I've mentioned it one time or another talking about the Norris, and I know sometimes things I say might go in one ear and out the other on the show. I actually asked the audience if I had mentioned it before during the stream, and I got to go back and check. I'm convinced I did say it. Either way, yeah, I had 200 on Roman Josi to win the Norris. We were looking good, and it didn't happen.
It was so funny. The first time I hear of it, and now if you said it, I apologize, but I don't ever remember hearing it. I'm next to RA. He's like, I got 200. This is going to pay me $3,600. I got some money to play with for the game tomorrow night, game 4, and boom, yeah. Makar wins.
You could have much solidified a Makar win the minute that came out of RA's
seasoned gambling was in a nutshell when he was talking about his Josi win.
That's what we need to set up the GoFundMe for. You need to start an OnlyFans, RA.
Seriously, Cameo, OnlyFans. Tell me about it. I got to reimburse myself.
I'll put you in touch with the Archbishop.
And the worst part is too, we'll get to the rest of the awards later, but one voter didn't even have Roman Josi on his ballot. I was like, how
I know he had 2
4th
places, and I think one guy didn't even have him. It's like, what are you doing?
Probably crushed his old lady.
I brought this up on the stream. These guys, these writers could completely rig this. They could have bet money on Cale Makar, and if you leave Josi completely off your ballot,
team of them. You'd need a team of them, because if one guy's like, all right, I'm going to put him not on, it's hard then to hammer a bet, because your vote might not even do it. Do you know what I mean?
It's like Survivor. Yeah. They got the side deals working out. Who's going to stay on the island for the voting situation?
That shit gets capped as well. But yeah, Scott Powers of The Athletic, he had Makar, McAvoy, Taves, Ekblad, Hedman. That was his ballot. And
I heard a great story though, quickly about rigging. Mike Motto of Rink Shrinks, our good friend, he found out he was winning the Hobie the night before when he won the Hobie Baker. It might have been 98 or whatever it was. And his brother shot out to Vegas and hammered the bet knowing it was over and got a big payday from it.
What?
So that was
great.
Cool.
Now he's going to have the IRS.
Seriously.
All right, you get a couple days off. Motto's brother's going to be getting the knock.
I was just kidding.
We'll cut that.
I think there's a better chance of a couple of the voters walking in, finding their old ladies jam themselves to Roman Josi highlight tapes than them rigging behind the scenes.
I was jamming myself to Roman Josi the night of the awards. Yeah. Legitimately tickling my cornhole. I'm like, hold on, guys.
Hey, he had a very interesting suit. Should we just go into that right now, all the awards?
Let's quickly. Want to talk about Bednar quick? We didn't talk about Bednar.
Well, I just needed to give my wrists a rest here from giving the fucking double barrel stroke fest. I think we haven't talked about Kemper and Bednar. Let's throw it back over to you, RA. You could tee Wit up.
Yeah, Jared Bednar, like I mentioned, man, this guy paid his fucking dues. South Carolina Stingrays with my pal Robbie Kincannon, grinded in the AHL, won titles at both levels, and now he's fucking at the top of the heap here. A lot of people calling for his job 5 years ago with the 48-point campaign. Colorado was terrible. They stuck by him, and this is exactly why. He brought him to the Stanley Cup Championship. What do you have for us, buddy?
I mean, I just look at a guy like that who play as a player. He's in the IHL, he's in the Coast, he's in the AHL. You never get that chance to get that NHL game. And when you play long enough in the minors, it's like you really wish that every guy would have a chance to get one game, because that's a grind, man. We've talked about it before. Playing in the East Coast League, yeah, you're playing pro hockey, and guys are they love the game and they love doing it, but it's a grind, man. It's a lot of bus rides, and you have these great teammates. But when you look back on it, you're like, holy shit! Like I put my body through the ringer, And after that, he gets into coaching. And in South Carolina, Robbie Buchanan, we've talked about him. He's done such a great job. I quickly want to shout out Ryan Wassofsky, too, who now has another AHL. He's won the East Coast League. I think he's got 2 titles in the AHL. But Bednar was able to go right into coaching. And if you look at his playing and coaching, the guy spent close to 16 years in the East Coast Hockey League. That could kill a man. That's like 16 years in Chernobyl. And the guy fucking has just grinded through so much. And when he finally gets his chance to get to the NHL, which he surely had dreamed of ever since he was a kid, as a player, it didn't happen. All right, now I'm into coaching. I've won at this level. I've won at the AHL. Am I going to get a shot? Well, he didn't even really get much time to prepare because if you remember, Patrick Waugh really unexpectedly quit right before that season. And all of a sudden, all right, let's look to what we have. We have a guy who just won us an AHL title in Lake Erie, and let's bring up Bednar. But that's tough, man, because you're getting a chance and it's your dream come true, but you're also being kind of thrown into a team that turned out to be the worst team in the league. And so not only are you getting a little bit rushed into your dream job and your chance at the NHL and your chance at being a coach at the highest level, well, you're getting a team that's really struggling. And I think you heard Sakic talk about the young talent they had. He knew that these guys were going to turn into studs, but they didn't have Makar yet. I mean, there was a lot of things that need to happen. And then when you see that season go as poorly as it did, it's just so cool to see the Avs show patience and show the willingness to allow Bednar to learn to coach in this league and to get some better players, to get a deeper roster. But listen, you saw some tough exits from this team the past few years. They went up 2-0 against Vegas. They lost that series. And there is so much impatience in this league. And there is so many times where guys are probably fired a little bit too early. And I know fan bases, they could get on different players and different coaches, and the grass is always greener. But I think Bednar, and I think him winning the cup, his number one thought was just probably being so thankful for the patience that they showed with not only the team and the roster, but him. And when you talk to guys, Cogliano mentioned, like, this guy is unreal to play for. He is absolutely 100% one of those guys who expects a lot from his players, but at the same time, he's not a fucking Randy Carlisle prick to you every time you see him, making a bagel, giving you a bad look, fucking yelling at you for saying hello. He's also a guy you could talk to. And I think that the current new age coach that you look for, I think Bednar really fits the script.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, when you talk to him away from the rink, he's one of those guys. It's normal. It's not that awkward. But then when the games get going and practices get going, he expects a lot. It's just, there has to be like the best of both worlds. And let me tell you this also, I was told there was a point, I don't know if it was this season, last season, or the season before, he's walking through the locker room with big old Bose headphones on. One of the guys is like, Bedsy, what are you listening to? He took one ear out and said, Spittin Chiclets. Boom, put it back in. So, Jared, we love you over here.
Give him the Jack Adams.
And all joking aside.
Give him the Jack Adams. No joking.
All joking aside, it's fucking awesome to see somebody grind that long as a player and a coach in the East Coast Hockey League and the AHL to finally get his chance and have some patience in building a team and becoming a champion. So it was a great story.
Yeah, he's definitely a Chiclets listener, but I don't know if I already mentioned it. He's the first coach to win at the East Coast, AHL, and NHL. And that just goes back to my point from last podcast. Stop recycling these coaches. Find some of these young ones that have been winning and moving up with a different voice. But I also got to shout out the assistant coaches. The assistant coaches don't get enough love. Ray Bennett was the first one to get the cup after Beds. And then from there, I went to my old roommate in Haveros, Russia, Nolan Pratt. So,
wow, you guys saw some things together.
Oh, yeah, we saw a lot of things together. He's an amazing guy. I was so nervous going over there. I met him for the first time at the airport in New York, and we were thick as thieves the whole time. Great guy. He won a cup as a player in Tampa. So that was kind of a different angle to look at it from him. He had to beat his old team, but great coaching, great job, and go Avs, go.
We haven't talked about one of the biggest moves that Sakic ended up making in the offseason was getting Darcy Kemper. And I guess we could talk about both goalies because Francouz did an incredible job in relief and coming in. What did he finish?
6-0, I think he was, right?
Yeah, and he gave that team a huge boost. Did so when we were there for the East or Western Conference Finals, excuse me. But like, getting Kemper over from the Coyotes and in a team that gave up tons of shots and scoring chances. So you're seeing tons of rubber. All of a sudden you go over to a team where, you're controlling the puck a lot. You're not seeing it. You can go, 10, 15 minutes without even getting a shot on net. And we ended up seeing in that closing game in the last period when you said that they were just completely dominating and Tampa didn't really even touch the puck. So to learn how to play behind that type of team where you have to stay focused and engaged. And then on top of that, first round of playoffs against Nashville, he ends up taking that stick in the eye. And then he has a setback with the injury later on in playoffs. And then for him to finally, get to lift the Stanley Cup. And I think that, given all things considered, he made the stops when he had to make them. Obviously he did get that goal support. He didn't need to be the Wassofsky. He didn't need to be the guy, but definitely a very, very important piece and a reason why they got to become champions. So a really good job from Sakic providing that 1-2 punch in net, the A1, AB situation, as I like to call it. And now definitely curious to see if they're able to bring Kemper back. That's the only thing that sucks about all this. It's like, you have so much success as a team. It's like, who ends up getting paid? Who can you keep around? Because, we already talked about what Nichushkin brought and how he elevated his level of play. He's going to hit.
And Kadri's gone, though.
Kadri, can you somehow figure it out where you could bring these guys back? I mean, you talked about setting the bar where, Landeskog took a bit of a hometown discount to stick around because he loved the team. How many guys can they get to buy in? And given the fact that we know that Makar did, because he's probably other than McDavid, he's the best player on the planet, and he's only making 9.5 the next 5. Maybe that sets the precedent. Maybe they're able to squeeze some guys in and keep a lot of that core group together. So one final tug job for Sakic and crew and what they were able to build and become Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, in that game 6, Biz, Tampa, he made the saves. He made the saves he needed to, and it mattered the most. I mean, he out-tooled Vasi in the biggest game he needed to. Also, I think we should play the clip of Nazem Kadri after the game as well. Let's roll that.
I mean, I've had supporters in my corner from day one, never wavered. And, for everyone that thought I was a liability in the playoffs, you can kiss my ass.
Congratulations.
I mean, just an awesome quote. Like, thanks to the people who like me, but to the ones who don't, F you. Also, too, got to give him a shout out. The first Muslim to win the Cup. And he's a hell of a role model to, kids of Lebanese descent as well as Arab descent. They have a role model in the NHL where they historically haven't. So it's great to see something like that. They know they can win the Stanley Cup when they get older as well. So we want to acknowledge that.
What he dealt with in that St. Louis series, we went into that. What a bunch of bullshit.
3 months ago.
And to come out on top is like, that's such a great story. And yeah, I mean, that's the Kyle Dubas, right?
Yeah.
I think the fans in Toronto loved them. That was a direct shot at fucking, you think that you can't get it done and I'm one of the issues? Suck it. I saw a thing, just if you want to win a cup, just leave Toronto. And it was like Kessel, Bozak, Kadri.
Stop. We're not talking about the Leafs right now, all right?
But Kadri, by the way, Kadri has made $37 million. So maybe he'd be willing to take a little bit if he loved playing there, but I think he's going to get just an absolute bag thrown at him.
And he loves the chronic, so he's fucking
he loves it.
They're like, I'll take 6 times 6, but you got to get me a pound of the best fucking weed in town.
In Colorado. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is right there.
Yeah.
It's in RA's bag.
every street corner.
Sorry, this just quickly came out. Brandon Hagel had a foot fracture in the Florida series. Nick Paul had a shoulder AC joint sprain and an MCL sprain. Corey Perry had shoulder AC joint sprain. Ryan McDonough had a mangled finger after blocking a shot in the Rangers series. All expected to make full recoveries. So it just goes into more of the injuries the Lightning were battling.
Yeah, Nick Paul. I think he made $1.35 million last year. He's UFA. He's definitely going to get a nice little raise from somebody somewhere this summer after his performance in the playoffs. And also our buddy Mark Rycroft out in Colorado shaved the mullet off. I don't know if you saw the video of that. Good looking fella took the mullet down. So
my God, what a blast that must have been for that whole broadcasting crew. They have an unreal staff over there, and they make the games very enjoyable to watch. And we actually bumped into them during that Western Conference Finals. They ended up coming over to the box and saying hello, the whole crew. So congratulations to them. I saw videos of all them enjoying some swigs out of the cup. So Yeah, they definitely bring the electricity to the broadcast.
Hey, Whit, some more injuries that were also included in the quote tweet of that tweet, where Braden Point had a significant tear in his quad. Bellemere had a meniscus injury going into playoffs. Sorelli suffered an AC joint sprain and will need surgery. And Kucherov hurt his meniscus.
Yeah.
So they were banged up.
What's going on with the AC joints?
I don't know. That's what happened to me. Some Russian crushed me in Salt Lake City in 2000. I was fucking wounded. I still got a bump in my shoulder.
So I did my AC joints, I think 4 times, 3 on one side, 1 on the other.
Yeah, but ours happened in games. Yours happened at Vegas pool parties. Doesn't count.
From doing the full octane. No, but they diagnose them as a 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree, and then sometimes they're just basically like a full separation of that AC joint. If you get like a 2nd or 3rd degree, it gets pretty painful and you don't really have much strength. And I would say full recovery time's probably about at least a month on if you get full complete rest on about a 2nd degree sprain.
Jesus, man. Absolute warriors, these guys. This was a pretty crazy stat. As of last Friday, Connor McDavid hadn't played a game in 18 days, and he still had 6 points more than anybody playing in the Stanley Cup Final. Like, absolutely obscene what he done.
Insane.
And I shared it on the outline as well. Dude had a $25 parlay. He hit $34,000, and it's the 2nd big parlay he hit in a year and a half. He had Golden State, the Rams, Georgia in college football, some random UFC fight, all parlay with Colorado. So for a $25 parlay, he got 34 grand back. But last year, he had an $8 parlay, Merles, and he got 20 grand back with the Lakers, Dodgers, Lightning, UFC fight, and the Buccaneers. So
who's this guy?
He's just a random gambler. There was ESPN did a story on him. And
name's Stu Feiner.
Yeah,
he also licks butt for a living.
Yeah.
Well, now the IRS has another target. They've
seriously,
there alone.
RA's just planting seeds to distract them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like, I got Yossi though, 18-1.
Motherfucker. Once again, Colorado merchandise all over the website. Check it out. Gee, that they did a terrific job on those shirts. I got to get one of those St. Bernard ones with the instead of the regular barrel, it's shaped like the Stanley Cup. So good shit.
We also did some super cool. Obviously, all the small things was all the rage in Colorado this year. So we did some like Blink 182 themed shirts that people are seeming to love. So you can check those out at barstoolsports.com/chiclets.
Let's make another parlay bet. RA, who are going to be the drunkest 2 guys at the parade? There's always a few Euros who get fucking buckled.
Honestly, with what Cogs' career's been, he might get smothered. He's a pro's pro, though. I don't know if he'd do it in public.
He'll be doing the gluten-free vodka. He's a bit of a...
I think EJ just might just be completely mangled.
Franco's definitely after talking to EJ.
Yeah, he's got the shampoo effect.
Yeah.
I've been rechecking my Twitter nonstop. I don't know if I'm not following the right people. I haven't seen any party videos yet or anything.
Well, I mean, we just heard. Well, Merles, you haven't heard the interview yet.
Yeah.
They landed, and EJ, Landeskog, and Landy's wife were calling around Denver to see where they could throw a party. And the whole city got drank out of all the booze because all the fans were going too hard the entire playoffs. So then they ended up boozing after game 6 on Sunday when they clinched it. So they ended up getting back Monday. There's no booze in town. All of a sudden it turned into a dry state. They're basically dealing with Utah now.
I feel like we had a part with that with our 3 or 4 days out there.
Boys, any final thoughts on the Cup, the season, and any other things you want to wrap up? I know we have your clip from Pod My Take. You guys did the Mount Rushmore Pod My Take. We're going to get to that shortly.
We're going to get to that. And I think that we're hoping at some point this week, we're going to talk to maybe a couple other guys, hopefully Bednar, maybe Nate Dogg, after, what he talked about going through when we interviewed him up with Crosby in Nova Scotia. So we're hoping to get a couple more guys for next week's episode. So if you want to tweet at some people, go on Chiclets. Describe your celebrations with the fellows.
Absolutely, boys. So what do you think? Send it over to PMT so you can get a little taste of that.
Yeah, I think for people who don't know, Biz and I, we usually go back and forth. He'll go on Pardon My Take, talk hockey. Then maybe a couple months later, they'll ask me. But we were in the office. So we went on together. They do a thing, I think every Monday episode where they do a Mount Rushmore, all the guests and themselves they give a list of certain things. Ours was things that change after turning 30. I know we have a bunch of younger listeners. You can listen and get horrified and scared of what's to come. And all you older guys with kids, married, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. So it was a fun interview to do, and we're going to go over things that change when you hit 30 years old in life. So we're going to throw it over now, and thank you so much to Big Cat and PFT for having us on once again.
All right, and this segment is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify is the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Shopify offers online retailers a suite of services, including payments, marketing, shipping, and customer engagement tools. Connect with your customers, drive sales, manage your day-to-day. Shopify instantly lets you accept all major payment methods. Shopify has thousands of integrations of third-party apps, from on-demand printing to accounting to advanced chatbots to and beyond. So go to shopify.com/chiclets, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/chiclets right now. And now, enjoy these guys on PMT Mount Rushmore.
All right, let's do the Mount Rushmore. You ready?
Sure.
All
Okay.
right, so since Hank is not 30 yet, he wrote a list that he'll give it to us after.
You're
It'll
not
be the
30?
rollback list. No.
Holy shit! You
Holy shit. Imagine all this kid's accomplished. He's still in his 20s.
Crazy. I've said it many times that I will. When Hank turns 30, it's going to be like an existential crisis for me because I've known him since he was 19.
Oh
18.
My God.
I think 19. Yeah, so I've known him for his entire 20s.
Less than a year.
Yeah. All right, so you guys ready? You want to start, Biz? So
No, I don't want to start.
Things that change after you turn 30. So it could be things you suck at, just life changes, whatever. Just kind of a window.
I actually will start.
Okay.
I have one that I think you'll really enjoy.
So it's going to be a snake draft. You understand that?
Sure.
So
No
you
chance.
explain it to me.
I got a host too. I should have gone with this.
Explain to me how you think a snake draft works.
Why can't I just play my game and you guys?
Well, because you have to play your game, but inside the concept of the Mount
snake
Rushmore.
draft, yeah.
So the structure of the draft, how would you think a snake draft went?
you're taking what you think would be the top pick in that topic to not allow anybody else to have it, and then explain a little bit why it is you
that's the first
made
part.
that decision.
That has nothing to do with the snake.
So then let's say you go first.
I have one that's gonna floor
right,
Big Cat.
So you go first,
And then Ryan's up next.
and then me.
And then it's me after Big Cat.
And then who
And then what
goes?
goes after me?
So things that suck after you turn 30.
No, but wait. So
Who goes
you went,
after PFT?
Ryan went, Big Cat went, I went. Now we've all four gone.
You
What
go
is that?
f-
What is that?
you go first again.
Yes,
Fuck
there you go.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
Yeah, I know
That's
how the
snake.
fuck
Okay.
it works. Come on, guys.
Well, you looked at us like you didn't.
No, because I was overjoyed with my first answer and how much
Hey,
you'll appreciate it.
Let me do this real quick. Roback question. You get Q-Zips, hoodies, polos. Go to roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. Roback.com. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. What do you hate the most about Whit? He's going to answer this.
He answered while you were out.
Yeah, well, you'll have to listen to what he said.
I don't. I mean, nothing. I feel like he maybe sometimes like he gets a little bit cranky and whines, but it's kind of funny. He's a funny whiner.
Yeah. Do you want us to tell you what he said?
Sure.
You got small peen.
Why would he care about that? You know what he would probably say? How much I asked him to do for work.
What do you mean?
Like I try to chisel too much work off him, and he's like, dude, shut. He's like, I just want to fucking golf, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say that that's probably my most annoying quality? Is I'm always asking for us to do more stuff, and you're like, dude, this is a joke. Like, let's just do the pod.
Yeah, but it's not annoying because he's like making us money. So I respect the hell out of it.
You have the dream.
He didn't make the money I made playing
Right.
hockey. So I respect that he's
Facts.
grinding now to make his dough. Like yeah, sometimes I'm like, holy shit, but
You have the dream life.
I love you for it.
Love you too,
Wait,
buddy.
you actually like? If I had to pick one person who has the dream life, it's you. I mean that.
Wow.
Like,
I would
seriously.
swap-
I mean,
I
you've
would
interviewed
swap
a lot
lives
of
with you.
No,
yeah,
but you get to do the fun stuff. But you're also like, I respect that you don't do like you could move to New York and work here full time and be a
I'd
star.
fucking
But you
rather
hate
be.
it.
I'd rather be
Right.
Billy Football.
Right, but you are like really good at managing. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I don't want to do. You have the dream life.
And for the record, I have an average size cock. Okay, I just want to put that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're very
Please
defensive.
update the record.
It's
I've never
average.
personally.
No, I'm not being defensive.
Like Colorado's in the South. It's average.
I've never had to give a press conference announcing the size of my penis. To everybody. I'll put it that way.
I'd like to thank everybody from TNT all season long. I'll be 20 minutes here, guys. Give me a few.
For the dick pump they gave me to grow this thing.
Yeah. For
Did they
bulging my
explain-
crotch area with the HD lenses in studio.
Did they explain to you what a snake draft is?
Yeah, he got it.
I know what a snake
He got
draft
it.
is.
Did you ever do one with Barstool Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So you
figured
got
out
it.
what a snake draft
Yeah.
was about halfway through that one. That was the learning
Yeah,
lesson.
that was where we learned. All right, so go ahead. Let's go. First pick.
Biz.
Right away.
Your dependency on coffee after you turn the age of 30
That's a
years old.
fact. That's a
Good
fact.
one. I didn't have that one.
That is an absolute fact.
That's a good one.
It's
I mean,
constant.
you're thinking you're taking on more responsibilities, whether it's with work, whether it's the fact that you have a family. You know, if you have kids, you got to be cranking at least 4 or 5 cups a day, even to just get your fucking day started. Big Cat, I see you post about it every single
So
morning.
much coffee.
And I know that you can really relate to this one, and I'm sorry if I stole it from you.
No, that's
but
a great one.
most people in America can agree that your dependency on coffee, and it sucks because there are a lot of consequences to it. If you stop, you get headaches.
Oh, there's days where
You need to keep drinking it.
so I have a cup like right when I wake up, but then I'll sometimes like get busy or something and forget because I usually have another cup around 10 a.m. And if I miss that one at like 2, I'm just like, what's happening to my body?
Yeah,
You're like, am I having a seizure? No, you need
you
a cup of
backhand your
coffee.
old lady.
Yeah, I'm like,
You're like, sorry, I need my coffee.
It's like, we should do that as a sketch.
You turn into Raging Bull.
Yeah.
Whoop,
Instead of
head
being
off the
drunk,
desk.
a bad drunk, you're just a bad non-coffee drinker.
Man, what's wrong with you? I need a cup of coffee.
You know that something kicks ass when there's a big movement of people that try to like tell you how to quit it, right? So now it's like a thing where people are like, I'm doing a caffeine detox.
Yeah.
I'm quitting coffee. And they quit for like 2 months and then they go back and they're like, I just had to prove to myself that I could exist without it. Turns out it sucks. Going back to it. Now I'm addicted again full time.
Yes.
Oh, why? You actually did that, or you're saying people do that?
No, some people, I would never do that.
But if,
Why
if
would you-
that's your problem that you're trying to quit, like, settle down. That's a pretty
Right.
decent problem
Right.
to have. I mean, there could be way worse things we'd be addicted to.
Have you guys ever had a scientist on to explain the like the bad things about caffeine?
No, they always release. Big Coffee does a great job marketing because, like, every 3 months, New York Times would be like, study shows that coffee drinkers live 10 years longer than everyone else. So they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Would you guys start a coffee company with me?
Sure.
Okay.
Be ready
Let's
for
talk.
phone calls.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
talk.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, this isn't.
Okay.
Why? Then it could sponsor your pod. It could sponsor our podcast, and then we like, maybe one day if they fucking say,
We're really
hey,
hurting for sponsors.
Wait, so you're saying start your own company so that your company can sponsor your own podcast?
Yes, correct. That's
fucking
double dipping,
genius.
baby.
That
That
is
is genius.
Yep.
This guy's
This
smart.
guy's
Yeah,
big brain.
coffee today.
I'd like to thank my coffee company.
That's a good one. All right, Whit, go ahead.
I would say just the hangovers.
Yep.
I
I mean,
mean,
that's
this is like the 1-1 draft pick.
It's awful.
It's
That's why you need DHM detox.
You can't drinking. I say the drinking's the only thing in the world. The more you do, the worse you get at it. And over 30, it's like, I don't know. It for me, this list. Once we talked about this yesterday, a lot of it's actually 35 for me. Like I've noticed in the
I'd
last
agree.
4 or 5 years, it's been even bigger than 30 to 35. But overall, dude, I cannot go out if I have something to do the next day. Like,
Yes.
and if I'm drinking, I have to drink from noon to 8 p.m., get my 7-8 hours, I'm fine. But, dude, if I'm up till 2 in the morning drinking, I'm actually done for like 2 to 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know what it is? And you're right about the 30-35 thing. I think 30 is when these things start to creep in. 35 is when they hit like
And I got
hammer.
married when I was 35, so that really...
I
that
got
yeah.
my first hangover when I was 31.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is
you're like, what is this?
What's this feeling?
So I remember I was just out of college. I was 22. We'd go out every Friday, Saturday night. Say we'd train during the week, right? All the guys playing, but we'd rip it up every Friday, Saturday night. I'm talking till 3, 4 in the morning. Saturday starts, right back at it. Every Sunday morning, I would play softball in Scituate, my hometown. I'd go down and play softball. It was a 9 a.m. start. And I'm like, I can't even fucking move my body at night. I was out 2 straight nights, and then I'd play softball at 9 a.m. I wasn't even, I felt great.
Yes, dude,
So-
and like bachelor parties, it's now 3 days because it's like Monday
even go on
you're
those
terrible, Tuesday it creeps in, and then Wednesday you're not hungover, you just don't feel right. and you're like, I'm not normal.
I can't tell you the last time I went on a bachelor party.
Yeah.
Maybe 3-4 years ago.
I go on golf trips, which I guess turn in basically to
That
like
is a
bachelor
bachelor party,
parties.
yeah.
And then you come home and you need a vacation from the vacation.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to go long-winded, but drinking and hangovers after 30,
it's
the
easy.
biggest
That's
thing.
why you need
Yeah.
DHM
Yeah.
detox.
Yeah.
No days wasted.
It's a good
20
pick.
promo code.
And, and the delayed onset hangover is brutal.
The worst.
Oh,
It's so
the
bad.
worst.
Oh,
I'll be fine. Like if
weed can help that a little.
Yeah.
Like weed's kind of created, I think, to just like a little puff if you're hungover might help you, but then you're just like on another planet from that
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
So yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Like a great life hack once you turn 35, especially, is just go out and day drink.
Just day drink.
Just
It's
day
the
drink.
best.
And then go back home, have a giant meal on your couch, and then fall
Pass
asleep.
out on the couch.
Yeah,
the
pass
ru-
out on the couch,
yeah.
wake up, get like 10 hours of sleep, and then you're at least manageable the next day.
The rule I always go is getting drunk is still fun, but once you're drunk, it's time to go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
beers 1 through 7 are so much fun, and then when you're like, oh wait, I'm drunk, I'm out.
If I know I'm drunk, it's the biggest Irish exit you've ever seen.
Out. All right, I'll go with another one that I think is high on the list and similar to hangovers, heartburn. Heartburn after when you get older, like it's
talked about
just
this last night.
it sucks so bad to have to actually think about these things where it's like, oh, I shouldn't eat these wings at fucking 9 p.m. tonight because I'll be puking in my mouth at 4 a.m. We remember when we were in Vegas probably 4 years ago, and Hank had his first ever heartburn, and he explained it to us, and we're like, yep. buddy.
The
like,
puke comes up.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's like it just hurts, and you just feel like shit. Like having to actually think like, ooh, I shouldn't eat this late at night, or this is gonna like if I have a beer and a wing, like it's gonna fuck me up. So that's the worst.
I carry around Tums now.
Yeah.
Like it's my wallet.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I recently made the upgrade from doing Tums and keeping Tums on me to now I take the 1-a-day pills, which is like supposed
just
to be
get ahead of
preventative.
it.
You
Yeah.
get ahead of it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is just a problem I'm going to have to deal with. So for the rest of my life, I'm going to just take like a morning pill, and then I'll be moderately. I still take the Tums. I double dip on that, but it helps. So that's a big switch in your life when you realize you just accept the fact like my stomach's gonna suck.
Yeah, like
until I die.
Yeah, and I think about like when you're 21 in college, you're like, oh, I'm gonna eat Taco Bell at 2 a.m. If I did that now,
Dead.
like I actually might die. I might be like fucking
I think
Jimi Hendrix,
think,
choking on my own puke.
you just have to really change up your diet as you get older. You
Yeah.
don't even really need to exercise that much. It's more about the diet.
It is true.
If I have Italian with red wine and then chocolate after,
Oh,
those three right there.
That's a bomb.
Those three right there. You're waking up at 2 a.m. with a rush of puke through
Like
your
a Siamese
throat,
cat
and you
took a shit in your
sprint over.
mouth.
That's a heart bomb. All right,
Red
PFT.
sauce and wine or barbecue and whiskey.
Yeah.
Either one of those two combos.
Yes. All right, you got 2 picks, PFT.
All right, this is tough because a lot of mine are off the board right now.
Yeah, I knew heartburn was on there.
I had digestion.
Okay.
Is that the same as heartburn?
Yes.
Yeah, where it's just sitting in
mine
your
was
stomach.
also about my asshole too. It's like taking
yeah.
too many shits. But I'm not going to say that.
You can do bowel movements because that's
yeah.
pissing too. Changes.
I'm going to say making new friends.
That's a
after
great
you're
one.
30.
Yep.
That's a great
When
one.
you're
Great
30,
one.
you usually have your set group of friends.
I'm all set. I don't need any more
You don't need more friends. You
Trim
have-
the fat, actually.
You trim the fat. Everybody, get less friends. As a matter of fact,
Yeah, it's hard to keep friends.
But when you meet new friends after the age of 30, it's usually built around an event that's taking place in your life and not necessarily because you have something in common with them.
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh, this person works in the same office as I do and I don't hate him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess we're friends. Oh, this person plays fantasy football. Yeah, I'll talk to them. I guess they're my friend. But it's not the same level of closeness because I think what really makes you close with a friend is getting into trouble together with that friend.
Yeah.
That's what forms that bond.
Well, and doing fun stuff. When
Yeah,
you
like-
get over 30, you don't do that.
yeah,
much
like
fun
sitting
stuff.
the funnest times that you can remember with your friends is not even like going out. It's like waking up the next day and like all being in a house together and like busting each other's balls. Like you don't get that anymore.
No, you don't because
Yeah.
the kids got baseball.
Yeah,
and then
right.
You got to get the dry clean. And
Right.
yeah, it's over.
Good pick.
Good pick. Big cat. You're oh no.
No, you don't know the snake.
Snake.
You don't know the snake,
All right,
Whitney.
PFT, you're up again.
Oh yeah.
I'm up
shit.
again. So for my next one, I'm going to go just sleep. Just sleeping.
Yeah.
Sleeping is tougher.
Yep.
Once you hit 30, it's harder to fall asleep. It's harder to stay asleep. When you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like you've slept the full night. It's not the same. It hits different after you're 30.
I
agree.
would do anything to sleep in.
To be able to sleep in.
I'd kill a small animal. I wouldn't do that. I shouldn't have said that. But
No,
I want to just set an alarm again.
Wait,
I don't need to set an alarm.
Dude,
How small of an animal?
chipmunk? I'd kill a chipmunk.
Yeah,
to go
yeah,
sleep
like a
till
little
10.
little bird.
Yeah.
Like I'm just
Squirrel.
telling you, I don't need if I need to be up for a flight or something at 5 a.m, yeah, you need the alarm. But at 6 a.m, my eyes open no matter what.
Yep.
And it kills me.
Yep. It's impossible to sleep in. All right. I got next pick. I'm gonna say that when you get past your 30s, something that really sucks is all the athletes you're watching are younger than you and being like you start calling athletes kid and like shit like that where you're like, oh, okay, like Luka Doncic is like 13 years younger than me. Like that shit just like kind of fucks you up where you're like, what am I doing? I'm watching like, because you grow up and you have athletes that are older than you and they're like, oh yeah, that's my hero, and then you get to a point where you're like, fuck, I'm older than everyone in this league.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
I don't think you can have a hero that's younger than you.
Yeah, right.
That's always tough to do.
It's like
And,
thinking about like watching college like basketball and it's like I'm rooting for a 19-year-old. I'm double his age.
when Zion got into the league and people on TV were like, this fat ass needs to watch his diet. It's like, dude, you're just like on television, like really, really caring about the body size of an 18-year-old.
Yeah, right. It's just
weird.
It fucks with your head, and it's just like you have moments. You still root hard, but like you also have moments where you like step back and you're like, "Whoa, what am I doing?"
Yeah, am I gonna get hit with a restraining order?
Yeah, like what's happening?
You know what's
My
tough
body shaming?
is when the first person who's younger than you retires from
Yes.
sports.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're like, what?
And you,
Yes.
no, don't do that. Yeah.
Wait,
I
you
still
saw
think
yours.
the college guys are my age. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Dude, when you see when you see the NFL draft, the quarterback that goes 1-1, you're like, that guy's older than me.
And if he saw us, he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, sir, Mr. Whitney." I'm like, "What
right.
the
You're like,
fuck, dude? We're the same age, bro."
Yeah. All
Oh,
right,
my
your
God.
your pick, Whit.
Okay, mine would be, and this has been a big problem for me, just waking up and something's injured.
Yep.
The injuries from sleep, and like
Yes.
I wake up and I'm like,
Sleep
oh my God, I
injuries.
can't move my neck. What the fuck happened? Oh, you went to bed. Like, oh really? This is what happens now? Like I wake up, my foot, I can't walk really correctly. Like you have these injuries that happen from nothing. Whether it's, I guess, sleep, what I meant. Also, like you can sneeze and like Sammy Sosa style, throw out your back. Like that's after 30. That doesn't happen in your 20s. So
Yep.
random injuries basically that come from nowhere.
It happened to me the other day. I woke up, my entire left arm completely not there.
Yeah, like,
I'm
what happened?
I'm talking like not even pins and needles. I mean, like there was nothing going on nerve-wise in my entire arm. And then I do some research about it. I either slept on it really wrong, or I've got like some injury that I'm just gonna have to wake up with a dead arm once a month.
And you'll never do
Yeah.
a thing about it either.
And it's also like just like I was at a wedding a couple weekends ago and I woke up and I was like, my ankle hurt. And I was like, why is my ankle hurt? And my friends were like, dude, you were so fucked up. You were just Euro stepping people in the middle of the street at like 2 a.m. It's like, why did I like that?
Why was I doing
Why
that?
was I doing that? Like, of course I'm injured from that.
I was going to a golf. I was going to play golf. This was 2 years ago, and I got to the road where I'm on the road, and then I got to merge onto a road left, and all I did was just go like this. But
Your neck?
the slowest
Yes.
turn to the left, and I couldn't even go play.
Wait.
I was like, I gotta go to the hospital. Like I just turned left.
Another one is picking up your kids.
Oh,
like
yeah,
if you
you're
pick up
done,
your
you're
kid, like
done, you're done.
I'll hurt myself once a week just picking up my kids with a weird angle.
You should hire a guy to
hand
up.
me my kids.
No, you can go in and lean in for the kisses, but he has to continually hold the kids.
Yes. All right, your pick. 2.
I was just gonna say overall, like grooming and maintenance, and the fact that you start having hair coming out of weird spots.
Oh yeah,
Good
nose
one.
and ear
Like,
hair.
buddy,
Yeah.
the ear. I get these long ass eyebrows, eyebrow lashes.
Oh, dude, same. Yeah, it's bad.
They're like this.
Nose
fucking-
hairs.
Hey, well, nose hairs, and not only that, but you got nose.
Yeah, you're really on me. I have a couple hairs on
He has
top of my
hairs
nose.
growing on
Yeah.
top of it. Go look at his
Oh
nose.
man, that's whiskey.
like growing
that
out
might
the
be the
bridge of
beginning
your
of
nose?
whiskey nose
Yeah.
too.
Ooh.
Can we please post like a video or a picture of the
I'm gonna
hair
go
that's
shave
growing
my
on
nose.
top, on the point of his nose?
Dude, what do you want me to do?
I think you should start getting it waxed. Eyebrow
no,
combo.
I'm
He's got a
done
Mach
with that.
3
The
that just
unibrow?
comes on the-
I'm done with it.
Do you guys pluck your unibrow?
No, I've never had to deal with that.
No, so I'll
I
sit down.
pluck my unibrow. I shave my unibrow. I do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do for one. I would be next to my wife on the couch, and she gets up all of a sudden, comes back with tweezers, and is just pulling ear
And
hairs.
then your eyes are watering. You're like, ah!
She's like getting all these. She's like, these ear hairs are disgusting. I'm like, what? I didn't even know I had those. So,
Yeah,
Biz, that's a
stop.
great pick.
Yeah.
Great-
I think this is the obvious one. Sex drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
After the age of
yeah. You don't want to hump.
I'm not gonna. I feel like just wearing like New Balances, kind of
Yep.
like all the stereotypes you see online about becoming a dad, like the big white ones. the high white socks, kind of how I look like today.
Yep.
And just, I don't know. I just like, I'd rather just fucking not do it.
Sometimes you have to remind yourself, like, if I was 18 years old and I knew I could get laid and I knew that 30-year-old me would not take that opportunity, then you get mad at yourself. And then you're like, no, I got to take advantage. So you have to, like, almost trick yourself into wanting it more.
Yeah.
After you turn 30.
Yeah.
Or get testosterone shots.
Yeah. Stu Feiner. Every 2
C-bombs.
weeks.
Does he really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Dude.
Is that why he's...
We know when we tape Barstool Sports Advisors if it's a testosterone week or not.
Because he's screaming. He's just like so horny.
Sean, have you ever heard of his rule?
Yeah.
The 15, 15,
yes,
30?
you have heard of his rule.
I still haven't. I still haven't recovered from throwing up after I saw him describe.
That wasn't the heartburn?
Yeah. He does Barstool Sports Advisors with his kids in the room most of the time. His sons will be sitting there and he'll be talking about eating their mom's ass. Yeah. Okay, wait, you're up.
While he's close talking to you with a hair in his teeth.
Kind of a tough one to explain, but I cannot for the life of me get around and this is kind of a post-35 one, maybe a post-kids one, having to make plans so far in advance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It fucking kills me. Hey, you want to play golf September 10th? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm like, call me September 8th. Like, But everyone I know, all my friends that are way more organized than me with families, it's like they have every weekend planned out for the next 4 months.
Yes.
And I can't do it. And it's like actually creating stress in my life because like if I just did it, but I'm like, that's like me holding on to being young. But anyone listening, you'll have a point when you need to plan out everything and it sucks.
Do you have the big calendar?
We got the shared calendar.
Dude, when the big calendar shows up at your house, this might be relatable just to dads, but when the big calendar shows up to your house, it's a torture chamber.
But the only good thing about
shit gets put on that, like he said, like in 2023. It's like basically like you know when like Alabama announces they're playing Texas in 2030. That shit goes on the calendar.
Yes. Yeah, we have his 6th grade graduation in 9 years.
Crazy, dude.
So I do think about the big calendar though. Married guys will know. The good thing is if you get something on the big calendar, you get it.
It stays.
You get it.
It's in
so
pen,
it's like
not
I put that in the big calendar.
That's a fact.
Whit gets the calendar and just puts golf every day.
Yes. That's the thing is like you can use the big calendar to your advantage too.
Yes.
Because if it's on there, they have to respect what you've put on. You're actually doing a good job as a husband and a father by planning that out that far in advance.
But basically, so I mean planning your life out in advance. I hate that, and that's an over 30 thing.
Yes.
What about Thanksgiving? How early do you make Thanksgiving plans? Because I made my last ones.
We do the same thing every year.
I made my last ones in January, and that was tough.
Yeah.
When I had to decide, like, and then I started looking at flights, and Expedia's like, "Sir, you can't book a flight this far in advance."
Oh yeah,
That's when you know you're old.
Yeah,
That's an old.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the big calendar haunts me. All right, this one I'll have to explain a little too. Once you get to 30 and then like 35, you're supposed to like nice things, and it's like you're supposed to like wine, really nice wine, and like nice clothes, and like you're supposed to like these things, but there's part of you that's like, I just want a fucking Coors Light. Like I'm
still a piece of shit.
Yeah, right. Like I'm still a scumbag. Like you're not supposed like you can't stay in bad hotels. Like there's supposed to be like things that you do that are nicer, and your friends like nice things.
I appreciate you admitting Coors Light's bad.
Coors Light is the best.
Shut the fuck up.
It is the best.
I'm a Coors Light guy.
You're suspended.
I'm a Coors Light.
Do you know what I mean?
Sussy.
See you later.
Sussy. Do you know what I mean? Though you're supposed to like be an adult with some of your tastes, and you're like, wait, I don't.
Yeah,
like
I don't
like
it.
a cheeseburger. I don't need to get like the tuna tartare and shit. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
like
yeah.
ordering a cheeseburger at a nice steak restaurant or a nice restaurant, you look like a scumbag.
Like
I want the cheeseburger.
A girlfriend or a wife wants to try this new restaurant. You look at the menu, like there's not one thing I want at that restaurant.
Yes.
I want to go to the sports bar.
Yeah, I want to get like mini fucking corn dogs and a big pretzel and just watch some games.
Yeah, I booked us this non-alcoholic vegan restaurant, sweetie. It's just like,
yeah, right.
I should have saw it on the fucking calendar.
Dude, you have to you can't if I was just by myself, no kids, no family or anything, I'd just be a scumbag still. You know what I mean? Like I'd stay at shitty hotels, I wouldn't care, like all that stuff. But you gotta like nice things when you grow up.
The heartburn's making a lot more sense now that you keep talking.
Heartburn was a great pick.
Yeah.
What do you
all
got?
right, get to your last two.
Suicide's not funny, but it would be very funny if Biz actually killed himself because he had to go to a vegan restaurant.
Or put something in a calendar.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
I don't mind vegan food, actually.
So my next one, I'm gonna go.
You got two. We gotta
clock?
rush two because they got
Is there
an
a shot
interview.
clock?
Okay. I'm gonna go with finding and caring about new music.
Good
stop.
one.
You stop,
Great one.
You start.
I'm struggling with this big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when was the last time you found like a new
Dude,
band?
Well, music
gotta
sucks
find-
now. I'm trying to find old music
Yeah.
now.
Me too.
It's crazy.
Me
I'm
too.
like, my Spotify is just all songs from the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
I'm like,
Mine, like the latest I go, I think I stopped really appreciating brand new music. I think the year was like 2011.
It's all junk now.
Anything past 2011, it's like, yeah, I'll listen to it occasionally and I'll recognize the song. But then I'm like, no, play me some from the 90s. Like, go back.
I love that pick. That's a good one.
The key is finding a few friends that are DJs or have great Spotify lists and just have them send them have them send you over the lists and you just kind of go through it and listen. And it's kind of fun because it's random and you don't have to do any of the work to find it.
It's kind of like the same thing of talking about an 18-year-old that's coming to the NBA, though. Like, I'd feel weird going to a concert of people that were all like 21 years old. Feel like a real creep out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a very good one.
My last one, I'm gonna go just dressing. Just dressing yourself in general. This might be more personal to me because I have like what I call accidental 6-year-old days where I get into the office and I look at myself in the mirror for the first time. I'm like, I'm fucking dressed like a 6-year-old again.
Yeah.
And it looks weirder as you get older. So maybe it's just like me not updating my dress style. What's that, Hank? What's that fucking smirk?
No,
on
it's
your
like-
face?
it's like-
no. Hank has a smirk. What is it?
I mean,
What's
like
on
he
what's on
looks
your mind?
great right
It's
now. He
facts.
looks like a 6-year-old
No,
himself.
you were explaining it well.
Yeah.
But I don't. It's not like that changed when you got over 30.
But it looks worse on me now that I'm older.
No, now when people
Yeah.
find out your age, like that's how you're dressed. Like,
Exactly.
if you were
Yeah.
27, at least maybe that's cool.
Right, right.
Yeah, so it's like a personal thing. It's like not updating your dressing style whatsoever to appear like
Hey.
an adult.
Hey,
Yeah.
I feel you, buddy.
Yeah, you look,
Yeah.
that's a Rudy
There's
outfit.
definitely
that's Rudy Junda. He would wear
Yeah.
that exact outfit that you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
He'd look much better in it.
All
I'm
right.
envious of your dress style. Like I wish I could dress the way you do.
Or who are you talking to about
You.
that?
Yeah.
Me? You
Like
wish
a
you
not
could dress
feel
like-
like,
like
me?
a
not
child.
Feel, he
Like
meant to
fashion
say,
icon.
exclusively
he meant to
wearing
say not
free
feel
clothes.
shame.
Not have
Yeah.
your
There's
wife.
going to be
leave you.
paparazzi
Yeah.
following you around now.
He
You're
wishes
gonna
he
be
could
taking
not feel shame.
You wish that you could like wear Jinkos.
Like I don't think you've spent money on clothes since I've met you.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I know,
Wait,
and
wait.
I'm envious of that.
A game I like to play is what did I buy that I'm wearing? I think I bought these socks.
There we go. Huge.
I always buy. That's my treat for myself once
Nice
a year.
new socks.
Yes.
I buy new
Stocking
socks.
stuffer
Yeah.
Yes. All right, my last pick.
with the gold coins.
It's
the
good.
chocolate gold coins.
My last pick is going to be. I watch everything in subtitles now, and
Yup.
I also like have found my. So this is like a combo of like just sound. It happened actually the first time we went to Army Navy last year, and we had like a Barstool Sportsbook event. And I had to ask the DJ to turn the music down a little bit because I
Yeah.
couldn't hear people talk. Because like I was trying to have a conversation, I was like, this is just too loud. So just the sound and like subtitles, like all that shit changes, and you're like, yeah, this music, like having to actually say, can you turn that down a little, is such a demoralizing moment. But you have to like do it because you can't hear anything, and it's bothering you how loud it is. So that sucks.
You know what the worst is? Loud bars.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
fucking hate loud
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
And it's I think I've always like I've never really loved being in a loud bar, but it's such a bigger inconvenience now that I'm older. And I know that I'm not a loud talker anyway. So
Like
if
you're
I,
not stepping foot inside a club.
if I no, fuck no. I went into a club like a month ago, Hank, right? Went to a club a month ago. I was like, what do I do now?
Oh,
Like I just I
Put
stand,
your earplugs in,
I stand next to this couch.
yeah,
and
and like
that's it?
wait for the bottle
and then you
service
pay
girl.
10 grand to stand there for the real estate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to hang out by this very nice looking couch for
Yes.
an hour.
Can't even
Yeah.
talk to anyone.
Yes.
Can't do it.
Awful.
But you do get the sparklers.
That's true.
Yes. All right. Whit, your last one.
This is tough when you come to the end. I would say like patience in lines, if that kind of makes sense. Like when I'm standing around now, I don't
Yup.
know. Like when I was younger, I don't know. I just kind of like waited there. Now, if I'm at like Starbucks or something, it's taking forever. I just notice I'm way more. Maybe it's having kids. You just lose your patience.
Yup.
And I feel like you get it back like maybe 50s and 60s.
When you got nothing to do.
As of right now, like my patience level is horrific.
If I see a line, I'll just be like, nope, we're not going there.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like I am always somewhat in a rush, I feel like, and it drives me crazy.
Yep.
You know what the worst line is? If you've already received whatever service that you're paying for, and then you have to wait in line to pay for it.
Yep.
It's like I've already got it,
I'm leaving. I'm not
but-
paying for
but
it.
now I have to wait wait in line to give you my money.
Let me just hand you some money.
Yeah.
And just I won't take change.
Let me wait to pay.
I mean, you guys kind of collectively took my last one, which is going to be your irritability goes up.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
In general.
So now I got to think of a new one.
No, I mean,
on
you
this.
could do that one if you can think of other. Patience is different.
I would say that my early days, like, in your 20s, you always want to be around your buddies and you're okay. We talked about the friend things as well, like where I really, really like you I guess you enjoy your alone time.
Yeah.
So therefore you aren't as irritable. But I guess that wouldn't be something that you hate when you turn 30, right? So,
Yeah.
Taking care of your body maybe a little is an extra one. Like just like you're like
losing weight.
Yeah, it's like impossible.
That's
Like, I'm gonna
actually
go
a
to the
great
gym.
one, yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, like just trying. Yeah, just being like, oh well, I could put together a few good days in a row, but like it's not gonna stay.
There's
I mean,
a
I
game
struggle
on
with
tonight.
it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah, losing weight. How did I not do that one? I can't lose weight. I was on the elevator with Alex Bennett today, and she was like, "Oh, you've been playing basketball. Like, are you trying to get in summer season?" And I was like, "No, listen. There's only 2 seasons in my life now. It's football season when I gain 20 pounds, and then off season when I lose 10." So I'm just going 2 steps back, 1 step forward until I fall backwards off a cliff.
So in the 2035 season, you're going to be 4'10".
Yes. It's just like that's pretty much how it always works. All right.
For me, I think that there's a limit to my body. I think once I hit 200, I think then it's all over. If I'm below 200,
What are you at now?
I can always probably like 175.
So if you hit 200, it's basically
I came so close last summer after we did Grit Week, and we went to that wing place, Wing Nuts.
Yep.
And I fucking absolutely destroyed these wings there. I got home, I weighed myself. I think I was 195 pounds. And I know that once I hit 200, it's never going below 200. It's just going to be, I'm just like throwing up my hands and being like, okay, I'm going to be fat from now on.
That was my 220. Once I hit 220, it was 240 the next day, and it was like, you're never going back.
I think everyone has that number in their mind, though, that when they see it, it's like, okay, this is over.
Yep.
We have an interview right now.
Yeah,
with
let's go.
Bernie Nichols.
Yeah, let's. So what we'll do is wrap up. This was awesome. Thank you guys. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Who won?
We'll put it to a vote on Monday, and then we'll have Hank.
Biz.
We'll have Hank
You got
say.
it, Biz.
Good job,
We'll have
Biz.
Hank say
Thanks,
his list after during the show on Monday. So thank you guys. We love you.
All right, love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you guys.
You boys, a couple of characters, funny stuff, man. But want to let you know that segment was also brought to you by our friends at Shady Rays. Shady Rays is back for another run around the sun. Shady Rays Sunglasses offers an industry best combination of fit, style, and performance without the big brand price tag. And it doesn't stop at the quality. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they will send you a brand new pair. I love my Shady Rays. They're just out of my arm's reach right now. I don't have them on. I love them. You see all the time I wear them everywhere I go. They're dynamite shades. I highly suggest you get some if you're looking for a pair. And if you don't love them, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. So go to shadyrays.com/chiclets for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Again, it's an unreal deal. The sunglasses are awesome. If you lose them or break them, they give you new ones. I don't know how you wouldn't try this deal out. So Shady Rays, get on it. Enjoy them. They're fantastic sunglasses.
Wait, you must love that because I know you always have shades on you and you are sensitive to light, right?
Oh yeah, I need the polarized. I love Shady Rays. They're the absolute best, and I've spent so much money in my life. Now I can occasionally get a pair sent to me. I think I've lost like over 100 pairs. It's well documented.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it on the pod before. And I got to ask you guys one favor, and going back to what I talked about in the opening, ask your wives, you and Merle's. RA, I don't think you even have to. I think
if I can eat dinner in the car.
Not dinner. I want you to go in there and I want you to listen to 2 tunes, 2 of my sneaky bangers I'm going to tee up for you. You got to do the Elton John, Take Me to the Pilot. Let me know how you feel after you crank it and listen to it in the car after taking a couple deep breaths. And then I said Tina Turner earlier. What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, yeah.
Grinelli, you're going to like this. The Kygo version. I know I got my riff with Kygo because he wouldn't
Incredible.
let me. It's
What's love got to do?
Got to do with it. Got to do with it. What's love? The second and emotion.
What a
So a
fucking
couple
voice
sneaky
on her,
bangers,
man.
and I would expect you guys to come up with one sneaky banger that I can listen to in my car before the end of the podcast.
I already have it for you.
Me too.
Go ahead, Mer.
I have it, and I tweeted about it because I was watching the Sportsnet feed. They did a little montage before that Game 6, and it was "The Heat Is On," and it got me so fired up. I ended up going back onto the betting site and hammering even more on the Avs because it got me so fired up. The Heat Is On.
Do you know what? You know why that song hurts me? I'm pretty sure the Flames play it when they score. And I had a lot of minuses. The Heat is on. Am I making that up? Do they not play that?
I don't know. I don't really consider
No,
that
they play Johnny Cash, I think, or something.
I don't know. I don't really consider that a sneaky banger. What do you think? All right, do you like that tune? You think it's a sneak banger?
What, The Heat Is On? Nah, no.
I love how you give out your sneaky bangers that we could not agree with, and then Merle says one, you're like,
oh,
no.
you could disagree with my sneaky bangers. I'm just saying, like, that's not a tune you're putting on in the car and like gets you going. The two I mentioned are anthems. They get you going. You're going to be fucking fist pumping in the car, and your old lady's going to be calling the lawyer, filing for divorce because she thinks her fucking husband lost her mind because he's hanging out in the car like it's a goddamn movie concert.
I got a good sneaky banger. You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon. That's a great one. Come on,
It's a good
Biz.
song. I don't know. What do you got, Whit?
I'm writing all these
Ramblin'
down.
Gamblin' Man by Bob Seger. Give it a fucking shot, dude. It's a banger.
Caught Up in You, 38 Special. 38 Special got some fucking bangers.
Caught Up in You?
Yeah. I'm so caught up in you.
Gurnelli, we should.
Wow. I'm going to play all these tonight. As soon as this is over, I'm going to put them all on here.
People
should start
muting the fucking radio. Listen,
we should start a iTunes or Spotify playlist, sneaky banger playlist from the Spittin Chiclets.
Yeah, I like that song. All right, I like that
On
song.
it. Oh, yeah. I'm on it, Biz.
Okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Some other big news that happened since we last spoke. Hall of Fame announcements on Monday. The latest inductees: Henrik Sedin, Daniel Sedin, Daniel Alfredsson, Roberto Luongo, all the NHL players who got in. Finnish women's player Rika Salinen. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. She spent 16 seasons with the Finnish national women's team. Herb Carnegie went in the Builders category posthumously. He's frequently cited as pro hockey's first black star. He was a 3-time MVP of the Quebec Provincial League. Also played in a line with the legend Jean Beliveau on the Quebec Aces of the Quebec Senior Hockey League. He never made it to the NHL, but Willie O'Ree did say it should have been Herbie who would have been the first black NHLer. So congrats to all those guys. But this is the annual talk. Who got screwed yet again? And I know I've been saying Alexander McGillney, and I'm going to say that again. But let's go to you guys and see who you think got screwed. Biz, what do you have for us, buddy?
Well, I think we continue to harp on it. I think that we say Alexander McGillney. I think JR, being an American-born player who scored over 500 goals. I guess it's the Keith Tkachuk argument can be made as well.
Yep.
Given with what he did, especially in the era he did it in, how many goals he scored. And then there was one other guy, RA, that you had listed down as one of your three that I agreed with. Now I'm drawing a blank as to the
Patrick
name. Patrick Elias. And he also has the Stanley Cups to match the resume. So, and given the longevity, yeah, I think that all those guys at a certain point deserve to be in. Now, I hate that sometimes that conversation does overshadow the fact that some well-deserving people did get in. Daniel Alfredsson, no brainer. Who else?
The
Sedins.
Yep. I got to be honest. When I saw Luongo's name, I was surprised. And I think I thought, look, he doesn't have a Vezina. He was never a first-team All-Star in the league. But then you look, I think he's second all-time in games played by a goal. He's fourth all-time in wins. Both of those really helped the argument. I think he was a finalist for the Vezina 3 or 4 times. But I don't know. I was kind of like, I think without the Vezina and without the first All-Star team as a goalie, maybe that's a little surprising. There's probably arguments for it both ways. I mean, he won a World Cup. He won a gold medal. He won a couple World Championships, I believe. Went to the final, Game 7. I thought the Sedins right away made sense. I think Henrik won the Hart Trophy. Daniel won the Ted Lindsay at the time. And I think that was the year Corey Perry actually got the Hart Trophy. They both won the scoring title. Alfredsson made a ton of sense. So all of these I don't really have a beef with, but I don't know if you guys are totally disagreeing with me, but when I heard Luongo right away before really looking at the resume, I think it was immediate kind of not shock, but a little surprise.
Yeah, I like the Sedins. They were in my draft. The Hall of Fame move was how Burke got them both to Vancouver. That was just legendary, the stuff he pulled off for that. I got to agree with you on Luongo, Whit. I mean, he was there. He's played a long time, but he never.
I think his Twitter put him over the edge, Merles. That's what that was the last check mark, because you can put him in the building category as kind of the whole encompassing picture. So,
what about Pierre Turgeon? He's not in there either. A lot of people seem to want him in there.
Yeah, he's another guy. I think he's on the top of 34 scores or something. He's the only guy who's not in the Hall of Fame. But, I think his playoff resume probably works against him. Same with Keith Tkachuk. I think Keith being American doesn't help me either, but first American to lead the league in goals. He did what he did, but like I said, his playoff resume probably works against them as well. So, and everybody was deserving this year. As far as Luongo, I'm not surprised he got in. I mean, you've constantly heard him refer to as future Hall of Fame goalie Roberto Luongo. It's just, when these well-deserving folks get in, there's still all these other ones who don't. And you wonder, like, are they going to get in? I guess, again, especially guys like McGillney, not just the hockey, but the fucking defecting from Russia at the time of the Cold War. That's like head shaking to me. Like this guy risked his ass, risked his life, his family's life to come here to play hockey. And he was fucking awesome. He won a Stanley Cup and he scored at a level like unseen. And he's not in. That's just the biggest head shake.
And the one of the best stories in pro hockey I've ever heard. Now, if this is true, I think he should have been a fucking first ballot. So towards the end of his career, he was playing with the New Jersey Devils. And I don't know if there was a falling out between Lou, but he ended up getting sent down to the minors. I played against Alexander Mogilny when he was playing for the Albany River Rats, right around the corner from Merle's. So he was still living in the city. So he went into the coach's office and he goes, "How much is the fine in order to miss practice?" And the coach said the number, and he walked out and then came back in with a check that he'd added up all the remaining practices for the rest of the season, handing the coach a check for not showing up to those practices. So just an absolute vet move. And he was still filthy at that time. I think he probably was a little bit rattled that he'd like go through the whole team and dangle everyone and make these backdoor passes. And, some of these AHL guys didn't even know what the fuck to do with them.
Merle's is shit-faced on the post, missing the puck.
Yeah, exactly. But so, yeah, one of my favorite pro hockey stories, and definitely a guy who should be in there. Now, going back to Luongo, maybe they could have just waited a couple more, because I mean, there was probably never a doubt that he was eventually going to get in. But to make sure that they're rushing these guys to the front of the line, where there might be some other guys that have been waiting a while, I get where your frustration comes. All right, I get the same tone in your voice. The way I do at the beginning of every hockey season when they mention that some people locally can't watch their team play. And that fire gets burning under your ass, and you make sure to give a big double barrel fuck you to all these cable companies screwing hockey fans out of watching their local broadcasts.
Well, what was good is everybody was able to watch the Stanley Cup again. First time the Stanley Cup was on over-the-air, free TV ever, all the games. So no complaints. Nobody could complain about not being able to watch the Stanley Cup this year. So that was good. So.
I think, all right, that's a perfect way to stroke off the league as we give off our last wrister. They did an incredible job with, having to balance through the Olympic situation, over the COVID situation. And the league has put themselves in such a great place. And it's because of all the hardworking people behind the scenes that make everything operate. I know that you guys like to rip on Bettman. Everybody has done a fucking incredible job to get the league to where the viewership is where it's at. Revenues are at an all-time high coming out of COVID. So thank you to everybody, all the hardworking people at the league. And of course, all you amazing hockey fans, new and old. Fucking A, hockey's on a rocket ship, guys. It's on a rocket ship.
Future is bright, man. Awesome season. We got an awesome playoffs, and it does seem like we are getting new fans. Biz, the ratings are up, the numbers are up, and then the amount of people, and we get people say nice things to us all the time when we meet them. And one of my favorites is when I didn't even watch hockey. I started listening to you guys, and now I'm a hockey fan. I got back into hockey because of you, and it makes my heart sing, man.
I love how you turned this into pumping on our tires already. I respect that.
Yeah, I'll give myself a pat on the back. Hey,
I do have one issue. Can we please somehow? It'll never happen, I don't think. But can hockey end in May? Can there be no hockey in June?
Agreed.
What the fuck? Great run. I don't mean to be Mr. Negative, although that's my tagline.
Sure.
I'm just like, come on. We got to end hockey in May. June is not hockey.
Yeah, I hear you there. But as long as they're doing 82 games, they're not going to start turning that gate money away.
Well, no, they don't want to start earlier because of football, but just don't play games on Sunday. It's just, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Different
I agree with you. I agree with you, Whit. 100%.
The future is bright, like I said, because of all these guys who are playing outstanding level of hockey. More awards, too. We got to get to the rest of them. No real surprise here. Our buddy Austin Matthews, he won both the Hart Trophy and the Ted Lindsay Award. The Hart voted by the Pro Hockey Writers Association, the Ted Lindsay by his peers. No real surprise there. Congrats to Moritz Seider on his Calder Trophy and his terrific season. It was pretty funny when we were interviewing him. Buddy Jake Tebow, who presented the award, said, "Hey, I'm doing the Calder." And lo and behold, it was right during the interview right when we were talking to Seider. So congrats to him. Awesome season by that kid. I love how he said, "I didn't prepare a speech. Just go with the flow and don't mess up." Big shout out to everyone sitting here. My parents couldn't make it. They just got back in Croatia and thought it was more important to go on vacation.
They got to get a little downtime after doing all they did to sacrifice to raise that kid.
Oh, yeah.
Come
Seriously.
on.
Yeah, great stuff from there. Also, Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin won the Vezina. That was pretty much a slam dunk. No surprise.
He should have lost it because of his salad. That might be the worst hair going right now. Worse than Austin's.
Now, did you guys think anybody got screwed on any awards? Any bad votes? Or were you pretty content?
I don't think I don't think we should glance over Austin Matthews' tam and the Gucci belt and him just rocking his style. He was next to Judd. Judd had the Gucci on too.
Judd had the Gucci shirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Judd's got to get on here. We got to get Judd on here.
Yeah. No. So congrats to him. Well deserved. Definitely the MVP in my book. So he's got. Here's my prediction, and I know we said we're going to go away from the Leafs talk. I think that the Leafs are going to run it back to back. I don't think they're just going to win one Stanley Cup.
Back to back first round exits.
No. I think something special's brewing. Next year is going to be their time. They got all the pieces they need. They just need, but we just talked about Colorado. They got beat in the second round last year after going up 2-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights.
Colorado doesn't have Cale Makar. I mean, Toronto doesn't have Cale Makar.
What are you going to say? What are you popping in here for, G?
As much as it pains me to say this, Biz, I do think the Toronto Maple Leafs may win the Stanley Cup next season.
Back to back.
Right now, they're second favorite. So
I got two hot takes going into next year already. And I know it's June, Whit, but I want to fucking beat these down to you guys so you don't forget them over the summer break. Kind of like when you take your school.
I think I'm picking them to get out of the first round next year, by the way.
I think they're going to run it back to back, and I think that Torts is going to bring Philly into playoffs.
I want to see who their goalie is before I decide they're going to.
Doesn't matter.
Stanley Cup.
The Biz calling a cup. 2 cups at least would have got out of the first round.
We got to keep track of all the futures this time.
I'm
keeping the notes.
And then
RA, I'm not keeping them from everyone. I'm fucking giving it the triple stamp of approval right now, back to back for the Leafs. Especially after what Austin Matthews just did. He's going to bring it again next year. Fucking missed 8 games, still had 60 goals. He's going to take a shit on the league. He's going to be the first guy to get 70 in a long time next year. And they're going to go on to get their first of the back-to-back. And Dubas and Shandy, even though they got dragged through the mud by Kadri, they're going to come back with vengeance next year. And they're going to go back-to-back and fucking dunk on him in their post-game presser after they win it at home on home ice in Toronto. There you go. That's it. That's all I got.
Wow. One other note on the awards. The New York Post, Larry Brooks abstained from voting. He said, 3 or 4 days before the ballots were due, I notified Frank Saravalli that I would not participate in the voting due to a lack of league-wide playoff media regulations that would facilitate access to players, and B, masking regulations that seemed absurd. It's like, you're a hero, Brooksy. You probably fucking maybe screwed some guy out of an award he deserved.
Hey, you know what? The mask is bullshit. So he's fucking right on that one. Attaboy, Brooksy.
But it ain't gonna change. I'm not point of agreeing or disagreeing with it. It doesn't change anything. You know, you're falling on a sword for nothing.
Brooksy's bigger than the players. Let him announce.
Let me get this straight. Did you just read off the fact that he said all that because he's not happy that they're still mandating the masks?
He didn't.
That's why he didn't vote.
He abstained from voting because he doesn't like the masking regulations and because the way the league facilitated interviews to players, access to players. Like, that's all. I'm not going to vote. So potentially screw some guy out of an award who might get a cash bonus or build his resume because I don't like these policies. Like, one's not going to affect the other, man. It's like, I get it's his choice, but the thing is, if you don't vote or if you don't get your ballot in on time, you can't vote for future awards. I don't know how long that lasts for, but
I'm kind of with Whit. I don't know why, but I love the move by him, and I love the move by him.
It's a power move.
It's a power move.
And now it's about an hour ride from New York City to Philly, so Brooksy can go back down and see Torts.
I'll pay for his fucking train ticket. I'll get him his own cart.
Oh, shit. All right, moving right along. Our buddy Shorzy called it. Paul Maurice is going.
Wait. Nobody. We're not going to talk about Shesterkin salad.
It was horrible.
That might be worse than Granelli's salad.
I know.
I didn't even know when he plays. He has like a fucking thing in it that holds it back. What's that called? Like a
elastic
A man bun.
no. He's got like
banana clip.
It's like the upside down U that goes over like the.
Yeah, like soccer players wear it sometimes.
Yeah. Did he have that on at the awards too?
Yes, it looked brutal. He just maybe needs a little bit more conditioner. It looked a little dry.
From me with this friggin' terrible joke of a salad I got. I look way better than Shesterkin.
And RA, the reason I cut you off, I wanted to touch on one more thing about the awards. I thought they did a really good job of incorporating, people from the hockey community. In the case of Jake Thibault, he was obviously paralyzed playing hockey. One of the more difficult but inspiring things to watch was Chris Snowy.
Oh my God, dude!
And his wife Kelsey and the kids.
Dude, we were all at Barstool for that. We were at the that was before Game 4,
yeah.
And
what a warrior!
And
what a warrior!
And I had no idea, right, what that disease has done so far, and to see Chris, holding his jaw to make sure he could get it out. I think all of us sitting there were pretty emotional. And trying to talk after that about the game and the awards, it was one thing, but what an amazing person he is. You've seen what he's done, what he's accomplished. He's on Twitter a lot. His wife's on there talking about how much they appreciate the support and the love from the hockey community. But it was really hard for me to see him have to, do that to himself. What a fighter he is. And Snowy, we're with you, man. I know that you're an absolute warrior, and the entire hockey world is thinking about you and really, really appreciate what you're doing to show strength through the toughest battle of your life.
And to bring awareness to it too. Like,
yep.
People going through that. You got to imagine that, they want to go deal with the fight on their own. And the fact that he's doing it publicly and him and his wife are bringing so much awareness to the disease. And, oh man, that was emotional having to watch that. So to the Snow family, you guys rock. Anybody who's listening, make sure you go show love and support. And I'm sure there's links to donate.
Yeah,
in order
Biz,
to try
that's weaksidestrong.org is the Snow Family Foundation to join the fight against ALS. So you can donate there.
So, yeah, I just figured we needed to bring that up, guys.
I'm so happy you remembered to bring that up, Biz.
Yeah, so great job by the league again to make sure that they involve all these amazing people from the hockey community, especially those fighting for their lives.
Well said, boys. Well said. I mentioned our buddy Shorzy. He called it right last episode. Paul Maurice is going from Manitoba to Manatee Country as the Florida Panthers hired him as their new head coach. He said he caught them on TV recently, mentioned to his wife how he was intrigued by this team. And a few weeks later, his son got admitted to the University of Miami. I guess that got the wheels rolling. No word yet on Andrew Brunette. The Panthers do want him to stay, as does Maurice. We'll see what happens there. This will be the fourth franchise that Maurice coaches. He coached, of course, Hartford, Carolina twice. Toronto, Winnipeg. This will be his 25th NHL season. Holy shit. He's got the fourth most games and the seventh most wins. He's also coached the AHL Mollies for a year and the KHL for one season. Guys, is he the best hire available for Florida? Whit?
I don't know. That's hard. I mean, I think the best hire available is Trotz. Merles is going to go into calling his year off, and I don't know. Paul Maurice is a Stanley Cup champion. He had some really good years. Everywhere. I mean, everywhere he's been, they've had successful teams. He had a good run with Winnipeg, shut it down on his own this year. I was a little surprised. Shorzy was right. Don't forget about him. I really wasn't even thinking. I kind of want to shout out Andrew Brunette. You got to feel for him a little bit. I mean, that team they're not built right now to win a Stanley Cup. And yeah, he got out-coached by John Cooper, but the teams aren't even close. You're trying to talk to me about the Panthers? Yeah, they won the President's Trophy. They don't have the makeup of a Stanley Cup champion. They don't have the defense. And I think that, like, he comes in, he does a great job. The team can score as well as anyone else in the league, and he's up for Coach of the Year, and boom, he's got to feel pretty slighted. I'm seeing it very difficult for him to want to stay there as the assistant coach, dude. After the job he did, I mean, it's not on him completely that the way they got swept in that second round. So you feel bad for him to have the year that he did, and then be asked, and then he's like just kind of hanging on the entire offseason so far. It's like, well, can I go try to get another job? You're telling me I still might be the guy. The way they handled that, I thought was bullshit. But Paul Maurice, I think he'll do a good job there. But I think no matter who the coach is there, they need to make changes as a team, as the way the team's built. You can't play run and gun hockey and win the Stanley Cup. And you saw how quickly that came to an end when they played a great defense and a great goalie in the second round.
That's definitely a coach and cuck job going down in Florida. I knew the minute they started interviewing people that he was done for. Paul Maurice, I love the hire. I love Paul Maurice. I love his post-game pressers. I think he's very insightful. I think he's extremely thoughtful in all of his answers, and he's a treat to have in the league. Much like I like Torts for his reasons, I like Maurice for his reasons. But this will be a massive test for him to see if he can get this team over the hump. I look at Winnipeg, and of course he's won his Stanley Cup, but there has been a while where he has not won any hardware. And Winnipeg was a team, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, with the group that they have, with the offense, the potent offense, I know that they might have lacked a little bit on the back end, or at least in recent memory. They've had the goaltending. He wasn't really able to get that group past a certain point, and obviously gained some frustration from it, ended up walking away himself when realizing that he just really couldn't keep banging the same drum and get those guys to buy in. So he's going to a team that's teed up and ready to win a cup. This is, I look at the Florida Panthers exactly like I look at like the Colorado Avalanche, for instance, maybe last year, maybe even the year before. A few tweaks here or there from Bill Zito, from bringing in some personnel, and I think that they can get themselves over the edge. And I think that they have a coach who can do it, but all the pressure in the world on Paul Maurice, seeing that if he can get back to that championship caliber coaching, because I feel that he wasn't really able to get it done in Winnipeg with some very, very good teams, and not even to a Stanley Cup final. Did they even end up going to a conference finals with him? I believe that they went to the
Winnipeg?
Round.
It was Winnipeg lost in the conference final to Vegas.
That's right. And that was kind of the last time they got the one kick at the can with Paul Maurice. So interested to see what he can do. And I do really like the hire. I know my boy Talk was in the mix for that one. I heard his interview went extremely well. It went extremely well with Winnipeg as well. And Merles, we're going to end up kicking it over to you here for your prediction on Trotz, but the coaching carousel continues. You don't see that young blood that you mentioned earlier, but what did you make of the news that you said that was going to come out, Merles?
Yeah, with Trotz, you could see he looked a little worn down, but the main thing was when all the chips started to fall. It's kind of like the players. Everybody sits and waits for that first guy. Like this year, everybody will wait and see what Johnny Gaudreau does. Then they'll start signing players. All these teams started signing coaches without Trotz. So I think Trotz must have told them I'm out of it, or they read the situation too. That's kind of how I figured out that he was taking the year off. And of course, there's no way to gamble on that, or I would have made a nice hit on that one. But coaching's tough. It's a tough job, and it wears on you after that many years.
And I believe the dick to the Winnipeg fans, though, Biz.
What?
Because kicking the dick for the Winnipeg fans who are hoping you're getting the best coach in the league, or one of them who's a hometown guy, and now he says no to them, and it's like that's going to be. I think it could be a tough couple of years. You heard that Wheeler and the team have kind of agreed to maybe try to move him, and you got Kyle Connor there, but there's going to be some. I think there's going to be some lean years for the Jets coming up here.
I don't think it's a secret to anyone, and we try not to be hard on too many situations, player podcasts and all. I don't think the locker room is at its best. I think that's part of the reason why Maurice ended up walking away. I know that Wheeler grew very, very frustrated with the fan base to points where, like, in post-game press conferences and questions, he was getting pretty snarky with the fan base. You know, he didn't appreciate some of the booing that was going on, maybe some of the frustration about the play from on the ice. So they need a complete overhaul, and maybe Trotz saw that as something that wasn't going to be able to be fixed. And you know, you're living in Winnipeg, and if you're not winning most nights, it could be a long fucking season. And going from the situation he had on Long Island, where he had a cup ready team, and I know they had an off year, they're still going to be right back in the mix. So sometimes with everything that's going on in his personal life, you know, the emotions of losing that job and probably a group that he loved coaching, I don't blame him for taking the year off. And I think he was probably the oldest coach in the league last year at, I want to guess, 64 years old.
I think Trotzy's 59 for some reason, guessing off the top of my head, but we can check. But either way, Biz, he did say, I've been doing this for 25 straight years, and I put a lot of stuff in the back burner, and I think it's time. He also said, I had to turn away free beer and free tickets and all that stuff. I know I'm a good coach, but you can't be a good coach if you're not fully committed. So apparently he did hear about that free beer offer.
He is 59 already. You're correct.
God damn it.
Business by 10. He
Where
hasn't
did I get
on
64 from? Who's 64 in the league? Maybe Quinville?
Talk it probably. I'm not talking.
Torts. Torts is 64.
Torts is 64. God damn it. How old's Quinville?
Talk might block you again now, dude.
Well, I'm going to tell him you thought he was 64.
I thought you were 64.
No, I fucking fuck my words there. Come on.
Quinville is 63, Biz.
Okay. All right. So, anyway,
yeah, he said he hasn't soured on coaching, just called last year a bizarre season. Of course, he's got a cup, 2 Jack Adamses, so I'm sure we'll see him back in the league at some point. A lot of talk about hiring and getting jobs and whatnot this time of year. So, hey, I'm going to talk to you about ZipRecruiter. I'm excited to travel this summer. Once the season's over, going to do a little vacay with the old lady. But have you ever thought of all the people that make a vacation truly great? People like the hotel concierge, the best places to go, get something to eat, or the tour guide with those great recommendations. Well, if you're hiring, you can find great people like that for your roles at ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's technology finds the right candidates for your job, and you can invite your top choices to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/SC. That's ZipRecruiter.com/SC. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. I'm not sure how many of these GMs are using ZipRecruiter, but this is probably the year to do it. Let's see. We got another hiring for you. Frank Saravalli reported that Luke Richardson would be named the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks once contract details are hammered out, and that became official on Monday. Richardson played 21 NHL seasons before moving behind the bench as an Ottawa assistant, head coach in Binghamton, an Isles assistant, and then the last 4 years as an assistant with the Habs. The Hawks also promoted Megan Hunter to assistant GM hockey operations, making her the 4th female GM in NHL history. Are you guys surprised that the Blackhawks hired Luke Richardson, Biz, considering he never actually coached in the Chicago organization?
I don't have an opinion on it other than I think that going back to talk it, I saw him tweet something out saying he was one of the best teammates he ever had. And seems like a lot of people love the move. And you go back to Merle's comment earlier. I like the fact that they're kind of going off the board, and I think that they should be doing that more. And so from everything I've heard, this is the right guy for the job, extremely well-liked guy. And hopefully he can get that organization back on track.
Absolutely. Good luck to Luke Richardson in Chicago. So right now, Winnipeg, Boston, and Detroit still have vacancies on the bench. Dale Talon.
Boston hires David Quinn. Heard he's possibly in the running, former BU and Rangers coach. Be a great guy to hopefully get the job from the Bees. Don Sweeney got a new extension. So, Jesus, you're safe as the Bruins coach. He's the next guy to get gassed.
Yeah.
Why were Rangers fans not happy with Quinn? Were they just
they're the dumbest fan base on the planet?
Okay, they're just being scumbag losers like always. Okay,
they blamed him for. It was like, dude, you look at what they changed with that team. They brought in Revo. They just became a better team. And they just blamed Quinn. It was just like, they're idiots.
Well, 2 things. I love that you pumped Revo's tires and the fact that that's what turned things around. And
he was a big factor, I thought.
For sure. For sure. He probably should have. Yeah, he probably should have got some hardware this year. Going back to Quinn, though, you think that he's a great head coach and you think he should get the Bees job. He coached at BU, correct?
Yeah, he coached at BU. He coached the U.S. National Development Program. Then he coached at BU. They were very successful with the team he had there, and then got his chance in the NHL. And I mean, the Rangers did a good job, and then took that little step back the year that it was the shit kicking against the Capitals and what all went down with that, and got let go. And I think I know he wants to coach in the NHL again, and why not give him another chance in Boston? I mean, I tell you right now, too, Jim Montgomery needs a job. Yeah. Jim Montgomery was a hell of a coach in Dallas, and there were some off-ice issues. You know, everyone deserves a second chance. He's become probably a better coach in the time away, working with the Blues as a Blues assistant. He will be a head coach again, and he deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's who I'd like to see the Bees high. I don't know if it's going to happen. Jay Leach, another name you hearing prominently. The Bruins officially extended Don Sweeney on Monday. His deal is set to expire this week. We've been hearing about the extension for a while. Well, it's official. The Bruins got ratioed hardcore on Twitter, quote tweets, replies. A lot of animosity about the GM here in Boston. Not happy about it. Also, per Joey McDonald's great reporter here in Boston, Patrice Bergeron will return next season. Nothing official yet. He's on vacation. He's going to meet with the team when he returns. But I wrote a blog about it too. And like you're wondering, this guy, he's a warrior. He's been through so many battles. Is he going to come back? And I think if he didn't come back, he'd probably feel knowing Bergeron that he was quitting on the team, because obviously half the D is going to be on the DL. His wingman Marchand's going to be laid up for a while. They don't have a coach yet. I think he probably said, shit, man, I can't bail out in this team right now. I'm going to take another kick at the can. What's your reaction to him coming back?
I think he needs the money.
Yeah, underpaid all those years, taking the fucking lowest salary. Did you take it away?
I wasn't that surprised. I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I think he would come back for one more year. Yeah, I mean, nothing really surprises me with him in terms of when it comes to being a good teammate and a leader. I mean, I've talked about this guy since when it was you and I on your couch. All right, it's the person everyone wants to be like in the NHL, and I don't think he was ready to shut it down yet. But it is tough to look at that team, at least the first half of the year. Possibly no Grzelcyk, no McAvoy, no Marchand. I mean, they're in for a tough go at the beginning, maybe enough that it could be really hard to even make the playoffs. I mean, their division's getting better. It's going to be a difficult road for the Bruins, and I think that Bergeron coming back just shows what a legend he really is.
Hey, I think they're a team that could sneak into the playoffs, and once all those guys get healthy, and they could still have one more kick at this thing, with some new blood in the coaching department. Now, you mentioned they got ratioed on Twitter. You're talking about the Sweeney extension.
Yes.
I think the main complaint for Boston fans is drafting and developing and asset management over the course of his tenure with the Boston Bruins, because they've really had a lot of those pieces in place when he ended up taking over, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, that 2015 draft, I mean, people always go back to it because it was a disaster, frankly. You had 3 picks there. Only one guy's been an NHL regular, Jake DeBrusk. And then you see who was taken after. And even if maybe they took one of those guys after, they could have won another cup or two. It's just that. And they're 29th of 32 per the Athletic for their prospect pool right now. I mean, the cupboard is bare here, basically. It's whose fault is all that? It goes to Don Sweeney, man. It's a lot of things that aren't great here right now. And again, asset management, overpaying for guys. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why they got rid of Cassie and kept him. I would have been fine, like I said before, if they turfed them both and brought up some new voices. And, I know I'm a Neely guy, and I waved the flag for him. And, this is where we talk about collaborativeness. Like, does Sweeney have full autonomy to make his calls? Does Neely have overrule him? This is stuff we don't know. So I don't want to call for a guy's job if I don't know that he screwed up that bad. I don't know if it's all.
Cam's been pretty adamant, though. Cam's been pretty adamant that Don handles all the contracts. Don handles the drafting. And then once that contract reaches a certain number, it then goes to Jacobs.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
like the McAvoy deal, that one went across Mr. Burns' desk.
Exactly.
Excellent. Let's see. Dale Talon joined the Canucks as a senior advisor and pro scout. Dale Talon still out there watching games, getting it done. Let's see. Frank Saravalli also reported Riley Smith and Vegas have reached a verbal agreement on an extension, but nothing announced yet. And Zdeno Chara will decide on his future plans in September per his agent, Matt Cater.
Just stop.
It's over, Z.
Come on.
Let the kids play.
We got a spot for you on the Chiclets Cup ball hockey roster, buddy. We need a little bit of toughness.
Z, stop doing this.
We'll get you a dietitian there. We'll get you a masseuse. We'll get you a strength coach. Just come on, dude. Enough.
Let's see.
Let the kids play, buddy. Let the kids play.
Whit, I know you mentioned earlier Ryan Wassofsky. Just want to give a shout out to Chicago of the AHL. They won that Calder Cup. They beat Springfield in 5 games. Ryan Wassofsky, a local guy who's from Marshfield, right? Whit?
Yeah, he grew up there. A good family friend of ours. Great kid. There's 4 boys. Dave played in the NHL for a while, and I think Ryan started as an assistant coach at Curry College in Milton, Massachusetts, and then he went on. He started in the East Coast League, goes on to become a head coach. Title there, title in Charlotte, I believe, and then title now in Chicago. So that is a future NHL coach right there, and he's a kid who's such a good person. I love the family. I'm so happy for him. And I mean, 3 titles now. He could be the next Bednar if he gets the show and gets a cup. And ironically enough, they both started coaching with that amazing group they have in South Carolina and the Stingrays, I believe it is.
Yeah, the South Carolina Stingrays. And they've also produced some assistant coaches that are in the National Hockey League as well. So massive coaches pool coming out of South Carolina. And I know you joked about spending 16 years on the coast and it being like Chernobyl. Hey, it puts a little character in you. It's a league where you need to develop.
You grow a third ear.
And you gain appreciation for every level that you get to end up moving towards, obviously NHL being the prized possession. I was able to play in the East Coast, and some of my most memorable stories are from the coast, Whit.
I know, we just can't even tell them on the show.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you what else I grew down there.
Oh boy. The Red Wings Avalanche documentary dropped on ESPN Sunday, Unrivaled. Any of you guys have catch it at all? I know we had busy weekends.
Not yet. Incredible. I'd love to get Darren McCarty on to talk about it because he's been doing a bit of a press tour for it, and he was one of the guys who was very, very involved in it. We can get some good detail as to the filming and how it all went down behind the scenes.
Yeah, I caught about half of it. I zonked out last night, but I got to finish it. It was good stuff so far. How about this clip of Ovi playing soccer, just fucking truck sticking dudes all over the pitch? I mean, can't be too surprised. Merles, you see that?
I caught that clip. It was it's a Russian Super League team he signed with, but it was a friendly game, and I guess it was against a bunch of bloggers.
It was a Putin hockey goal. It was the same fucking thing. That goal, they should have stopped that.
Ovi going against the cast of characters in the Barstool office, in a soccer match. But I like what really was impressive is that he scored from that like right hash mark or whatever, like he does in hockey all the time.
Yeah, exactly. How fitting.
Yeah, sick.
What's going on with the Memorial Cup, Merles? You up to date on that or what?
Yeah, that was my last note. I wanted to Hamilton Bulldogs. They won the semis last night in overtime. I may or may not have live bet that on a European website over here. So pretty happy with that one. I wanted to give a shout out. Jay McKee is their head coach, former Buffalo Sabre.
Yep.
D-man blocked 1,000 shots. So, that's probably the kind of coaching he does, and want to wish them good luck Wednesday night. They're taking on the St. John Sea Dogs.
Jay McKee is a beauty. First of all, he called me and asked me to do one of those, like a video that I ended up doing for the Oil Kings, but I was like, I can't repeat that in any forum, buddy. But I asked him to come on the podcast a few years ago while he started getting into his coaching career. I want to say he was in Erie.
Yeah, he started as an assistant in Erie.
As an assistant, but he's making that trek up, and he's going to save it for maybe later on in his days, maybe even when he's done coaching, come on the podcast, because some of the stories this guy has. This guy is a hockey guy, old school throwback through and through. So congrats to him. Beauty OT goal. Nice tip. Little low to high action. Walk the line, Kill McCarr style. And they're off to the finals, baby.
All right. We got a little gear grinding segment. Things are always grinding my gears. You know that. It's not travel related. Even though someone sent me a picture last night, some lady on a plane had a fucking dog. Monster dog. Thing had to weigh 150 pounds. She's in first class with her feet up on the TV, and this fucking huge dog And the poor guy next to her, like, it wasn't with her. The person who said the picture said, no, the guy wasn't with her. He was very nice about it, but just obnoxious to bring a fucking dog that big in a plane. It's not a service dog, too. It's not an ADA service dog. That's not my grind, my gears. You know what drives me bananas, dude? It gives me, like, legit anxiety when you're on a fucking group text with, like, 10 people. Like, we have one for work. We know each other. That's how we operate. But when you get one from, like, your relative for pie and there's, like, 20 people on it and you only have, like, 3 of the numbers and everyone's going back and forth, like, making jokes, absolute fucking worst, man. Drives me crazy.
You can leave the conversation.
Just don't fucking read it or lead the conversation.
You know what? I try to fucking mute it or silence it, and they're still coming through. It's like, I'll come to your party, man. Just text me individually. I don't need to be with 17,000 people on here telling me, like, yeah, I'll bring the fucking Cheetos. I'll bring the booze. It's like, it's brutal, dude.
They're trying to get a potluck going, RA, for crying out loud. It's your family.
I know, man. Just individually, any group text. The worst.
Maybe put your fucking phone down for 3 minutes a day. My gears,
love and family.
I'll tell you a funny story about
anxiety,
the group text, and people at home can learn from this. My brother was he set up a group text for his Kentucky Derby party, and his wife's name's Amber, so A always comes up first. So he goes, and it's supposed to be to me and a couple other people that are coming to this party. So he just goes to Amber real quick. It goes to the kids' youth soccer league. The entire team, he starts getting answers. Oh, party sounds great. All these people he doesn't even know. About 2 hours.
Shit.
Could have been worse. Could have been worse.
Yeah, true.
We had a guy at our golf course. He started a group chat with probably 25 to 30 guys from Wollaston on it. And literally 6 minutes after it was created, you just see Kevin Hayes has left the chat. It was so funny. This is like 3 years ago. I should have left the chat at that point too. It's a good time, but it's a heavy group chat coming in hot most days. Kevin Hayes, the first minute he saw it was out.
You know what gives me anxiety? Existing.
You know what gives me anxiety? Looking at my phone all day, seeing text messages from a group chat I don't want to be in.
Ugh. Or when you get one from someone, you got the number, but you don't know who it is. Like, we did the live stream last week, and I was getting, like, people like, oh, tell Biz this or tell Biz that.
Oh,
like,
an unknown number? Fuck, save it for next week.
I usually write new phone, who dis, like that back, but I don't know.
Oh, you write that? No shit, I never heard of that.
Oh, yeah. That's
new phone, who dis?
That's from that movie, that show. You're the worst. Great show, by the way.
I never even heard that. I'm going to use that.
New phone, who dis? Yeah, it's a joke from that, but it actually works because then people like, oh, it's so and so. But I have no. By the way, if you're listening, I have no idea who you were texting me during the live stream the other night. So, any last thoughts? Boys?
Last thing, golf. Quick golf. Keep your eye out. Michael Bjornsson. He pretty much was in the hunt to win the tour event in Connecticut, the Travelers Championship there. He's an amateur. He goes to Stanford. He's actually from Massachusetts. This guy is unreal, like a future superstar on the PGA Tour. If you can get some future bets in, Michael Bjornsson, unreal player. Last year in the Mass Am, he played in the final against Matt Parziale. I've brought him up before. He's the best amateur in the state. He's played in 2 U.S. Opens and the Masters. Parziale shots, it's a 36-hole final. He's playing against this Bjornsson. Parziale shot 67 in the first round and was 6 down to him. So this kid is a legitimate future world beater. He had a great run this weekend on the PGA Tour as an amateur, so keep your eye out for him.
I love it.
All right.
And one last grind my gears. Wives who don't let their husband listen to the sneaky bangers in the car when they get home.
Rambling, gambling, man. Bob Seger, Biz. Listen to it.
I will. Elton John, Take Me to the Pilot, and Tina Turner, Kygo remix. What's love got to do?
Congrats to the Avs. Congrats to the Lightning. What a run. And thanks to Erik Johnson. We really appreciate him coming on. Hopefully we have a few more guests next episode. Love all you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for the great season. Have a great week and get your Colorado merch.
What's love
let's go.
With it got to do with it?